MG, which is actually a great car. So they came out with the Halloween edition of one of the energy drinks I like, and it's called Witch's Brew, but it's actually a caramel apple flavor, and it's wonderful. And I just had one. First one of the season. Oh.
Halloween.
Why are we live?
Because the timer ended.
Oh. Good evening. Welcome to the I2I Motorsports Xfinity Championship. I think you just caught the end of Jim chatting about whatever it was, Halloween drinks or something. Energy drinks.
We've got the lull period conversation started early, you and it.
Oh yeah. This is the kind of professional output we give out on a Saturday night. So there we go. Anyway, good evening and welcome to the Skylark 225 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's NASCAR's longest night, and as you can tell, we're practicing our long night stories already before the broadcast begins. Because it could be a long night, it may not be. We'll wait and see. Though we've certainly got 150 laps ahead of us here tonight to make up to the 225. And we're very much looking forward to it. Myself, Ian Leary, Hamish Munro in commentary, Jim Cunningham on the production, and indeed on the commentary as well, when his voice is not dying a death. We will bring him in as well. But very much looking forward to, above and all, a very, very exciting race here from Charlotte. I'd say, Hamish, it's NASCAR's longest night. We're replicating that in the best way possible here, I think, with 150 laps. It's going to be a relatively long race when you sort of take into account how long this lap is and how many cautions we've been having throughout this season as well. It is going to be a race of attrition, that's for sure, as we were talking about before the broadcast. As long as you sort of stay out of trouble, top 10 might not be too difficult to get, just staying out of trouble here tonight.
I think staying out of trouble, staying out of pit road as well is going to be a major factor, obviously. We've seen how many cautions we've had. We've averaged over the first few rounds, I think it's still on average around about 9 cautions a race. We averaged round 1, I think, a caution every 9 minutes or so, or every 9 laps. So, obviously we're in for super speedway action here tonight at Charlotte. It's not going to be an easy race. I mean, it's a track that you can get into your draft trains, but if there's any pace differential at all between the cars or the drivers, they will break away into their own little battle packs throughout this one, especially over those long green periods. And if we get green pit stops, that'll obviously then change up the flow of the race too. So if we don't get heavy cautions early, Ewan, at least prior to the first stage break at lap 50, then we're very likely going to see those little battle packs and this strategy play of when you pit, where you come out, when you use those limited tyre sets, 5 sets available to these drivers tonight. That's going to be a big part, and I think, you mentioned keeping it clean, staying out of pit road, those are important, but strategizing on when you take those stops, when you take those tyres, and how far deep you want to put yourself into the field, with there always being a risk that a caution is going to get thrown as soon as you exit pit road after taking a green flag pit stop, it's going to be a struggle.
It's just coming towards a close at the moment. Chris Mackey has currently got the best time. We're riding on board with him in the 9 car. He is fastest with a 29.9. But I think that the more telling thing for me actually is just how many laps he has done in this practice session. This is his 134th lap that he's just completing at the moment. Now, this practice session's only open for a limited amount of time. So, although it has got a bit longer actually, an hour and 40 it is these days. So he's averaging less than a lap a minute. That's not the important thing. It's the fact that he's done 134, now 135 laps in this session that is really telling. One of the talking points actually before the race is about the limited amount of cars that have done laps officially in preparation for this race. Obviously, there will have been a lot of other guys doing a lot of practice on their own because there are 34 drivers who are currently entered into this session, but barely half of them actually doing proper recognised laps. A lot of those now being done in practice as well. But maybe some of the guys just deciding, well, it's not actually that worth it practicing too much. Let's just settle into this race, see how it goes, because it's a long race to get settled into.
I mean, it's what more do you need to practice, Sean? I think, you probably spend maybe 50 laps if you've never raced here in this car. You maybe spend 50 laps getting your lap times down to a relatively good pace. The rest of your practice then gets put into figuring out what your strategy is going to be. Well, your strategy is going to be figuring out how many laps you can go on fuel, how many laps you can go on tires, and if the right strategy tonight is taking only one side of tires to really stretch out those tire sets. We mentioned that there's 5 sets. If you were only to take right-hand side tires, that means you could do 10 pit stops taking right-hand side tires the whole race if you really wanted to. I think the major factor tonight is drivers who can hold on to at least one set for the final sort of 30 laps in case there's a late caution. They're going to be the ones to watch because they're going to be the ones with the grip advantage. Anyone who comes in and wastes their 5 sets in the first, 100 to 110 laps, they're going to be on the edge when it comes to the best strategy towards the end of this race. And we're very likely going to get a late caution because it's Charlotte, it's a super speedway. We know how feisty they get, Ewan, and I think we're more than likely going to see maybe a couple of cautions towards the end of this one.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think the fact that we've got a late stage of just 50 laps towards the end is maybe going to contribute towards that. I personally actually would, because we're doing 3 stages here, I personally probably would have liked to see 40, 40 and 70 maybe out of the stages here. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be effectively 3 50-lap races. We'll restack them at the end of each. But either way, we're into qualifying right now, and we will see who gets the best time. Trey Jones immediately going quicker than any lap that we just saw in that practice session. But it is later on in the evening, and so times are likely to improve. Trey Jones not beaten through that first set of times. Chris Mackey, who was top in practice, is now just coming up towards the line as well. What is the time going to be for number 9? Is it any faster? Because that's 6th place with just the first lap, and it's 4th place with the second lap, getting just ahead of last week's winner, Bailey Brannan, who is now down to 5th. William Hawker moves up to 6th place with his second lap time of the day. Devon Trusty is the next one, and along with Preston Clark, 2 drivers actually who've still got laps remaining yet in this session. Clark's just going to come up towards the line right now and go across. There he is. Where does he get to at the end of another lap there? Doesn't look like any improvement at all. Or indeed it didn't count. Maybe scraped the wall somewhere. Devon Trusty as well, still not quite completed his time. Quentin Morrow is just doing his second lap. Trey Grabber doing the same. Joe Dyson is just out there on the circuit for the first lap of 2. Same for Jesse James, just coming towards the end. Logan Gill just starting another lap, and it'd be really nice for Logan to get back up towards the front and get in amongst it again, because it's a couple of rounds now where he's been running up towards the front. He's not quite had the result to show for it.
Yeah, that's probably an understatement, I think, Ewan. I think he's been very unlucky over the last few rounds where he's been dumped towards the end of the race in both events. So for Logan tonight, he'll be hoping that his pace is not only strong, but he can stay out of trouble as well. And it's already becoming an early sign this season, as he only goes P21 on that lap, that the 80 car has become almost his nemesis at this stage, Tyler Murgy. Now, Tyler's only managed to qualify in P29, so he's going to have work to do to get his way forward tonight. If those guys tangle, it is becoming a, protagonist and antagonist scenario of which one is which. At this stage, it is looking like Tyler, in that rivalry, is the antagonist. But, anything can happen across the rest of this season, and tonight being the longest race of the season, it's anyone's game as Gill goes up to P11. So he's found some pace across that second lap. He's had to back out here of the third lap, though, and that'll be it for qualifying for him.
Certainly will. Going to confuse us with a separate livery as well to what we've had for the last couple of weeks. And that was just about the end of qualify. Sorry, well, it's not helping, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not ideal. Well, not for me anyway. It's we're trying to identify these guys. Also, it feels like somebody's just turned the lights off. I don't know.
Even on my end, it seems the lights have now been turned off as well. We were chatting pre-race of somehow how my feed and Jim's feed look completely different. We were trying to figure out how to get Jim's looking like mine. Couldn't figure it out for the life of us. But yeah, now it's like, well, now the lights have been turned off. So I think once we're trackside, though, those stadium lights obviously will turn on around the circuit, and we'll be able to get a nice look at these cars for this race.
Ah, there we go. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? As we
Yeah.
go forward to the race, so we're going to be able to see what we're doing, and so are the drivers, which is the most important thing. The warm-up session will now just get underway, and they'll have about 5 minutes or so for us to get ready for this race. It is the Skylark 225 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. 150 laps, the longest race of our season, both in terms of laps actually, and in terms of time it's going to take as well. To fit in, indeed, with the Coke 600, I suppose, which runs around here. We're not even doing half of that, but it is still going to be a long race compared to the others. The stages of 50 laps to start off with, then another 50 laps, then 50 laps to the end. So 3 stages, the only time we're going to have that this season. That means an extra playoff point available to all of the drivers. Only 4 drivers so far, or I should say, we have had a different stage winner in both races and a different race winner in both races as well. If those guys all make it to the playoffs at the end of the season, they will all have those playoff points to put towards their total as we take on the final 3 races of the season, starting at Vegas on September 20th. Anticipated fuel window here tonight, 29 to 32 laps, but as we've seen time and again in this series, the cautions can take you a long way past those parameters, and we're not going to see any no stops throughout the 50 laps, I wouldn't expect, but we might see some people going quite deep because there are limited tyre sets, just 5 tyre changes to be made over the course of the day. That means you've got to, in my opinion, divide the race into 5s and leave 1 set of tyres back just in case of late caution. You need a set of tyres late on. The weather should be overcast today for what that's worth. Current track temperature is 75 degrees not centigrade, definitely not centigrade. Fahrenheit is 75 Fahrenheit. I think that's about high 20s Celsius. So yeah, there we go. That's the track temperature here tonight, and it's only going to get cooler. Very interested to see how the tyres interact, Hamish, because it is not quite as abrasive, I don't think, as Nashville. Maybe you've got a different perspective on it, but the fact this is being run at night, it's going to start at about 9. It's only going to get later, only going to get cooler, only going to get nicer for the tyres. And you know, a late caution, unlike at some other circuits, you definitely want to be coming in grabbing 4. I'm not sure whether you do round here, whether you want to grab tyre or track temperature, I'll get it right eventually, track position instead. With a late caution. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure the tyres are going to be quite as abrasive around this venue as maybe some of the others we're going to go to this season.
I don't think so. I think unless we were running much hotter temperatures, I mean, obviously it's a faster paced circuit than Nashville last week, and there's a little bit more banking on, you know, especially at 1 and then turn 4 as well. But I think that more or less, it's, you know, just trying to nurse those tires is going to be somewhat of an effort. I mean, 150 laps, you got 5 sets. You know, you're averaging a tire change every 45 laps or so. If you're going to use a full set for each of your stops, relatively speaking, they should make over 30 laps on a set of tires if they can, you know, keep them together. Obviously, spins and stuff like that's going to have an effect too, Ewan. But I think the track temperature and the fact that the track is not as abrasive as Nashville, of course, this track was rescanned and came into iRacing this season. So it actually has a new track surface on it, which is a bit better on the tires comparatively to what we've previously seen. And no, I'm no longer on the bonnet of that car, Jim. I already checked that. I'm on the front of his ARCA car, though, not on the Xfinity car for Jack Anderson. But no, so yeah, obviously with the new scan of this track that came out this season, the track surface is a little bit less abrasive. It's a much fresher scan of the track, of course. So I think it's going to be less likely to cause massive tyre issues, but I think, you know, drivers are going to get into slides, they're going to get into the draft train, they're going to run more pace around these corners as well. I think as the track gets cooler, they are going to be better off. I'd still think, though, you want to try and at least save 1 set for the last sort of 20 to 30 laps, just in case there is that late break caution and you come in and you change to a full set.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think that's one of the other things that, you know, I would have had those slightly different numbers of laps in each stage, because I think it does work out quite easily in terms of how you want to change the tyres. We'll see whether someone tries to do something a bit different, but the fact there's stages does eliminate some of the strategic thinking. I think
maybe you go, you know, 30 laps for the first stage, and then. You're an absolute prankster, Jim. I mean, maybe in future, Ewan, and this is as a point of conversation, obviously, for the league themselves, as the grid's about to get up. Just quickly, maybe we go in future for Charlotte, lap 30 is first stage, lap 100 is second stage. So you have to do a long second stage of the race. I don't know. But, I mean, Trey Jones, he's done the effort in qualifying, and he's put it on pole.
Absolutely, and he's on the front row with Nicholas Meadows. It will be Ryan Simmons and Chris Mackey, then on row 2, ahead of Taylor Strong and Bailey Brannan, the winner from last week. William Hawker and Mike Ringer on row 4, ahead of Daniel Wing and Zach Smathers, who round out the top 10. Logan Gill in that 2 car will start 11th, then of Cody Pruitt, the winner from Daytona a fortnight ago. 13th place has gone to Jack Anderson, who we're just having a look at there, the only non-American. He's ahead of Charles Rinker, with Cody Nelson and Paul Harris on row 8. Logan Uka and Preston Clark are on row 9, ahead of John Roberts and Chris Hone. Trey Martin's just outside the top 20, ahead of Jesse James, with Trey Greber and Quinton Morrow on row 12. It's Devon Trusty, who we were just looking at there, and Jim was cracking jokes, by the way. I know you couldn't hear him. He's ahead of Caleb Ross on row 13. Joe Dyson's the first driver over a second off pole, ahead of Robert Stevens Jr. Tyler Murgy and Bill Dickey, the second, are on the top 30. Lee Strong and Jamie Violette are on row 16, ahead of Lucas Domini and Shane Johnson, all of whom have made the start here. We're slightly concerned that we might have a few missing because they didn't qualify, but we have got all the drivers in. I think it's our biggest attendance yet, actually, here. 34 cars, going to feel pretty busy around here.
Yeah, it will indeed. Be Strong starting P31 tonight, ironically, where he also finished in the votes for the Grammy Awards for Best New Artist back in 2007. So, but no, we were supposed to have another Australian on the grid this week. Well, I say Australian in quotes. He lives in Australia. He's actually an Englishman. In Jordan Ferguson. Unfortunately, he can't be here. He's actually technically not. I mean, technically, I am, Jim. I have got dual citizenship, but no, we were supposed to have Jordan on the grid this week, but unfortunately, he's actually ended up in hospital. So hopefully, we see him next week, making his debut in the next round of the series.
Hopefully, we do. Into the start of this race, then. It's the Skylark 225. The green flag waves. We're underway for the third round of the season in the I2I Motorsports Xfinity Championship this season. And we're underway again. Trey Jones in the number 1 car from the front, leading into turn 1 and 2. End of lap 1, Trey Jones leads the field through here at Charlotte Motor Speedway to start the Skylark 225. It is Trey Jones ahead of Ryan Simmons, who's got ahead of Nicholas Meadows, and already trouble for Mike Rinker, who is dropping down the field. Not entirely sure why, didn't see him go off the road, but he has somewhere, because he's flying down the order, and not sure where he's ended up actually, but yeah, minus 26. He's just disappeared completely. I suspect he might have actually disconnected, and that's not a good start for him, but a clean start from everybody at least. Everybody realising probably there's a long, long way to go tonight.
Yeah, William Hawker there just running it off the road at the back stretch on that last lap. He's already dropped now just below the top 10. Biggest gainers thus far into the top 10. They've gone together. Cody Pruitt and Jack Anderson both up 5 positions into P7 and P8 respectively. Bailey Brannan's currently up 2, Simmons up 1, but Trey Jones still controls the field in that number 1 car. So it'll be a long race, as we said. Biggest mover of the whole field, Quinton Morrow, currently up 8 positions into P16 at this stage, Ewan. So there's already a couple of big gainers within this race as well. But it is a long, long way to go. And it just, the early scramble of cars trying to just get into their position, get into a nice rhythm, and get themselves into a line of stern. That is the initial, planning stage of this race, it seems. So we'll see who's going to reap these benefits and who's going to maybe make the first mistake of this race.
Well, absolutely. That's effectively what you're waiting for at this stage. Side by side, meantime, for third place, Bailey Brannan versus Nicholas Meadows. And Brannan on such a good run of form at the moment. A great win last week at Nashville, of course. A little bit fortunate with the way the cautions fell, but you've got to be there to win it, and he certainly was, to take the second race win of the season. He's actually second in the point standings now. As a result, only 5 points behind Cody Pruitt, because he finished rather well actually at Daytona as well. But, okay, he finished okay at Daytona, just not quite as well as Pruitt did at the race he hasn't won. But they're 1 and 2 in the standings anyway. And Brandon with a good run here early on. Meadows has been overtaken definitively. Chris Mackey next involved, fastest in practice, was 6th place in qualifying. He's just sat there watching those two up in front of them. Brian Simmons really looks like he's trying to conserve his tyres early on here.
And this is now the balancing act, isn't it? Saving these tyres as we've had Will Hawker and Paul Harris off the road. First caution of the race, further back in the field. So a couple of these drivers have now ended up having an incident together. I'm just trying to find it here so we can have a look at it on the second screen whenever we get it up. I want to look back at this before we actually sit. Oh, okay. So a bit of overlocking, it seems, out of 4, and it's forced them both towards towards the road course. Actually, not even pit lane. They've had to take the road course off the back of that. So let's try and see a bit further back here. Here we go. Let's watch this, because this will be when he goes to pass him. So this is this battle between Harris and Hawker towards turn 3 and 4. So how is this eventually? Oh, okay. He's kind of, he's ridden up on him and he's hit the rear of Harris there, and he's ended up off track. So that's a shame between both of them. So it seems, Ewan, that the classic characteristic of Charlotte, loose off exit at turn 4, has already claimed a victim, and I don't think it's going to be the only victim that it claims tonight.
Well, you couldn't hear Jim, but yeah, that's effective.
He's
what we're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know. Anyway, that is what sprung out the first caution of the day. A couple of guys further down want to go into pit lane, and anyway, they are they're going to make an early pit stop. I can't see the point. I was trying to think of a more filtered way to say that.
Maybe just trying to take some, get a fuel advantage later in the race. I mean, I don't see the point in those drivers who've now lost more than 10 positions because of taking this strategy, but Lucas Domini has nothing to lose. He started in P33. He's in P33 now. He's only going to gain some fuel off the back of this and may even gain some positions later in the race. Now, if they're taking tyres, that's probably a big mistake. And Domini has only taken fuel on that stop. Hone has taken 2 tyres. Martin and James have only taken fuel. And Logan Gill has come into pit road and has taken a full set of tyres on that stop. 27.75 in that pit stop. That there, I know we're early on in the race, but that there is a massive gamble to waste a full set. He might have been...
Did you see there was 4 tyres changed, or was it damage repair? Because
we'll look at this
I would be shocked if someone takes all 4 here.
Let's have a look. Where is he? Logan Gill entered pit lane. Let's watch this back on the little screen.
Also, the fact it's 27 seconds, that's long for a set of tyres. You could change 2 sets of tyres in that time. So, I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out here. But watch that car go up on the jacks or not here as it rolls down into its position. It's got to be quite a way down. He qualified in the top 10, just outside of it. So here he is, right the way down into pit lane. And where does he go up on the jacks? No, that looks like a car staying on the floor for me. Yeah, so just a
He's
bit of
obviously
repair.
then he's probably saving that fast repair than if he's taken optionals or required at this point.
Yeah.
So that's another strategy of this race as well, is not wasting that fast repair early, because if you've got optionals which are only 20 seconds worth of optionals, not worth taking the fast repair now when you could easily be in a big wreck later in the race, and that then just destroys it.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's only 30 seconds or so, then you absolutely might as well just do it the old-fashioned way and get that out the way. Well, the lights are off on top of the pace car, and the restart will be very short. A very short away. So into the Chop House Restorations restart zone they go for the first time, and this time round it's going to be Trey Jones once again, as he did at the start of this race, to get us back underway at Charlotte.
So I think, to nobody's surprise, Ewan, the scramble is almost immediately back underway again. Obviously, we're lap 11 of 150, about to head over to lap 12. And as everyone sort of just begins to get into their rhythm now and gets into the stage of trying to jostle for position whenever they can, more and more drivers are just trying to just find those extra little positions. Now, we saw on our little talking points prior to this race, drivers can get roughly 29 to 32 laps on a full tank. Well, these drivers now with a pace car, do we think maybe they could get to lap 33 perhaps now if they saved a bit more fuel under that pace car?
Yeah, I would say so. In fact, I'd stretch it to 35 or so, actually. The amount of caution it would take for them to actually go all the way, I think, would be almost constant. But well, not quite, but it would have to be pretty severe. I don't think that's going to happen in the first two stages. It might happen at the end of the race. We'll wait and see how they all race, but it might happen later on. Certainly not going to happen now, though, and that makes me wonder whether they're going to pit at halfway in this stage and cut the fuel in half, or whether they'll... Oh, and they might just wait for now as somebody goes off to the infield here. That's Cody Pruitt, the winner at Daytona, who spins to the infield, and at the moment there's no caution.
He's in pit lane. They haven't called the caution because he's actually ended up in pit road off of that incident. So not likely going to see the yellow flag called for that one there. But it's a big loss there for Cody, especially with the sort of pace that he's got in that 98 car. Race leader though, Trey Jones, just trying to keep his race clean at this stage. Nick Meadows hot on his heels. We're on board with Robert Stevens in the other bottom corner as they're battling away. Let's have a look here. What happened to Cody off the exit of 4? Did he get loose on exit? Classic Charlotte Motor Speedway moment. It seems, he got real loose and into the wall.
Oh, he does find the pit road.
You know what? Good parking job. He nearly actually ended up in his pit box with that one, but the unfortunate part is he'll probably get a drive-through now for an unsafe pit entry, so that's only going to make him go even further back because he's in pit road now when we head back to live.
Yep, he's a lap down now as well, so that's not ideal news at all for the winner from Daytona. He's back in, as you say, back in pit lane now, but this is a big disadvantage he's getting now. If this
big contact,
trouble
that'll
on the
be
back
a caution.
straight.
Of course it is. It's William Hawker again. So Hawker again has gotten overlapped with another car and put them straight into the wall.
He's just driven into him there.
Yeah. And the 90 car is now stuck on that infield.
Hawker just maybe gathering it up from being loose. Maybe that is the case. We'll maybe get a better picture here of what happened.
He's just dumped him straight into the wall. I mean, it
looks loose to me.
looks like, I mean, perhaps can we go on board with him, Jim, just so we can see his wheel movement off that corner, because that will really tell us the story. If he gets loose.
I don't think.
No.
I don't think he's driven into him. Have a look at.
Yeah, he got a
Yeah.
bit loose, but
Yeah.
he just, didn't quite know he was
Anyway.
there. He almost tried to aim for the inside of the back stretch and then realised that the car was sliding and tried to save it, and then contact was made, so much more you can do about that.
And with 33 to go until the stage, well, not many have come in. That's very surprising to me. I would have maybe taken fuel only. You can conserve a set of tyres and not take them, but I would have gone in fuel only here. Daniel Wing has led them in. He qualified just inside the top 10, 7-second stop, and he's back out again. That's what I would have done.
I suppose the thought process is, and if we begin now to go to the period of green lap and then caution, and we do that consistently, maybe over the next 10 laps or so, they could save enough to get to lap 50. They would need probably another 5 cautions for that to happen, but it's not out of the realm. And I suppose maybe they're thinking, well, if let's just try and go as long as possible instead of getting buried deep in the pack off these restarts, because we know how chaotic they can be. And I do think that the best strategy for these front runners at the moment is you don't necessarily want to take this early pit stop, just based on the fact, again, you don't want to get buried too early and then end up in some trouble. Better to stick up front where you know the racing's been nice and tidy and just try and push on to the stage break. I mean, yes, you might give up stage points, but you conserving your own race and trying to get yourself to the end instead of focusing on early points that are only offered to you at lap 50.
Well, there's definitely the point about staying out of trouble early on. That is valid. But I think that, if we do get a long green flag run here, then the leaders are going to have to stop. A green flag stop costs you way more than losing the track position that those guys have just lost by pitting in under caution. Also, the fact that they will change a set of tyres. So effectively what those guys have done there by pitting in now and making it to the end of the stage, because those guys know now from Devon Trusty, actually, who's come out for... Robert Stevens Jr. has come out first, actually, of those who have made a pit stop here on lap 17. They all know they're going to make it through to the end. So they're saving a set of tyres. And if it goes green, they'll go all the way. If it's a caution, by the way, all the guys in front of them will have to come in, and they'll filter behind them because they won't be coming in under a future caution either. So I see it as a pure win-win for them, to be honest. We'll see how it plays out, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a whole bunch of strategies out there. Obviously, there's the strategy of conservation at the front of the field. Just try and keep your race as clean as possible. There's the roll the dice strategy of pitting really early and then hoping that you can gain some track position. There's obviously the strategy of coming in now when you're at critical and you can get to the stage end. And then there's also the classic raw dog strategy where drivers don't necessarily strategize, they just pit whenever they feel they're comfortable.
I wonder what Jack Anderson's doing. He's not stopped yet.
He's P7 at the moment, up 6.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's because he's on the wrong strategy, having not pitted yet. But anyway, into the Chop House Restorations restart zone we go again. And this stage will maybe reach its conclusion at this green flag run. 31 to go until the first stage of the afternoon. We're green flag racing again here at Charlotte. And like he has on the start and the first restart, Trey Jones leads the way pretty comfortably in that number 1 car.
So I wonder now, Ewan, when we're going to start to get into the period of those, double line astern racing, the two, columns of drivers that we often get. We saw it at Daytona. We didn't quite see it at Nashville, obviously. Do we think we're going to get single line, or do we think we're going to go double line at some point of this race? Because I think it's, probably not able to at the moment. It's the I'm about to say the 34, but it's the 74 gets a bit loose and ends up in towards the wall there. So needs to be cautious of not damaging that car too much. That would have cost him some time for sure.
Just a little bit, and as we've already seen with Logan Gill, it will do you a bit of damage if you're not careful as well. Really going up high there. Ryan Simmons losing places all over here. It's a tight circuit as they come through the quad oval. Sorry, it's really tight through there. And there's contact in the back. Contact in the background. Have they all saved it?
They have.
They have. Wow.
Simmons and Morrow on the inside of Simmons there, just giving him a little bit of a love tap and letting him know that he is on his inside. They've sorted themselves out, luckily for us. And we continue on for green flag running now. Lap 22 of 150. The race leader is just coming up towards us, or they just crossed the start finish line. Looking back on Logan Gill at the moment, be interested to see what he can do tonight. You know, and we mentioned that his race has unluckily been destroyed the last 2 weeks, and he's strategized himself towards the back of the field tonight, but he's actually got good clean air at the moment, so he may not be in a necessarily bad position, but running it wide at 1-2. Oh, that there may have stained the undies a little bit. I hope that race suit and that C4 car's maybe got brown pants.
Yeah, just scrapes along the outside wall and dropped to the back again. Best placed of those who have stopped so far is still Chris Hone, although he came in on lap 8. It's not a strategy I would have employed, to be honest, but anyway, he decided to do it, and he is still the best placed of those who have stopped. Lap 17 for Robert Stevens Jr., still the best placed of those who can make it to the end of the stage. At least I believe they can, even though the anticipated fuel window is only 32 laps. That'll be a 33-lap run. I think he'll be able to manage it, to be honest. He could just do save a little bit. As we get to the halfway stage of this stage, Taylor Strong is in pit lane for some reason.
Yeah, he's just had to come in the 11 car. We saw him battling away sort of mid-pack there for a period of time. Just quickly as well, we've had a heap of chats already out there tonight. Just want to take this opportunity just to give him a quick shout out as we're at the halfway point of the first stage of this race as the front runners are coming through. We've got Gage Linetti out there with us. Williams back with us again, giving his love to the number 8 car. Marcus Walker in the show as well. Jackie Chan 5 out there. Kelly Parker. Jordan Ferguson was supposed to be racing tonight. Unfortunately, he's out. Giving love. Unfortunately, he got the wrong car number for Jack Anderson this week. He said number 32, which is Ryan Simmons. I think he meant number 34. Rhiannon's out there with us. Hannah Rinker as well. Purple is out there. John Phones as well. Tyler Murgy in the chat with us too. William, though, with probably one of the best chats I've read in I2I in a very long time. Ewan Heck. Number 80 loves the wall more than Donald J. Trump. And that there is absolutely hilarious. Fair play to William. We don't like to get political, but that there is just honestly hilarious. So wanted to give that one a shout out.
Am I going to be culturally, mocked for not knowing what that means?
Because Trump, in his first run as president, built the wall between America and Mexico.
Oh, very good, very good.
See, yeah, it's very clever.
You have to explain it to the slow ones sometimes, and that was me there. Anyway, lap 28 of the race. Meantime. And I do remember that, by the way. I just couldn't make that connection because I'm a bit thick. There is the leader, Trey Jones, just 3/4 of a second, 2/3 of a second or so ahead of Bailey Brannett. Very popular winner last week at the end of the race in Nashville. Over a second behind for Chris Mackey, then Nicholas Meadows 2/3 of a way back. And then you've got the battle for Preston Clark and the rest of them. Jack Anderson is side by side with Paul Harris, coming off of 4 rather, and into the tri-oval again, or quad-oval as it is around here. Anderson on the outside line, just going to use that high line to get past, if at all possible. And it doesn't seem possible at the moment. Harris seems to keep the place. Then it's Quentin Morrow, who's already up 16 in this race. Caleb Ross next in line. He's up 17. Some big movers already so far.
Yeah, and the battle pack behind this sort of line that's starting to build now is looking a little bit feisty, I must say. I mean, there's probably 10 or so cars just chasing down this battle pack for what seems to be P5 or P4 on the road. And all of them would love to get this position. If we look at those who have taken pit stops thus far, well, Daniel Wing, somehow, who took tyres on that last stop, is back up to P8 at the moment, and he is very likely at the stage end going to be the race leader, because all the cars ahead of him are yet to take a pit stop, and we're not looking like we're going to get enough cautions now to get these cars all the way to the stage break on one tank of fuel.
A caution, there it is. Caution out, and Cody Nelson might be involved. He's down pit lane. I wonder whether it's one of those where someone's crashed off of 4 into the pit lane here again, like what we saw with Cody Pruitt earlier. Maybe it's something different.
Bill Dickey II, I do believe, has actually had this incident. He's had a crash somewhere around the circuit. So that's you've just selected the yellow flag, Jim, and we're still on the cut. So just to give Jim the little heads up here for a little bit of inside baseball. Whenever you select the flag on SDK, it just goes to the period that the flag was thrown on the car that you were selected with, and this is the incident right here that put out the yellow, the 75. Oh my God!
Who was that? That was a real big hit there.
That was Bill Dickey II in the 75
no, I mean,
car.
who hit him? Sorry.
Oh,
who hit him?
sorry.
I don't know who came through. I mean, that was real high speed there. Somebody came through and absolutely, well, he would have cut that car in half in real life, but look at this. Oh, my word. It doesn't look bad from that angle, does it? But my word, that was a big hit.
Can we watch that back at quarter speed, Jim, just so we can try and catch the car number? Cars are coming into pit road as well. Daniel Wing does not need to pit again because he pitted on lap 18, and of course they can get 32 laps off this stint. So let's try and catch the car number of the car that comes through and hits the 75 when he ends up coming around. So he makes that moment, hits the 8.
Yeah, Devon Trusty.
There were a couple that were able to take evasive action off of him. And there were a few names. I don't know if it was the Scooby-Doo car. The 21. Lucas Domini.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, so he makes that big contact, and I'm sure there'll be a long repair, or indeed a fast repair down there for him. Only 3 drivers, though, who pitted under that previous caution have stayed out under this one, so I also really don't get that. Daniel Wing, Trey Graber, and Logan Gill are employing the strategy that I think is the right one. But anyway, what do I know? 4 tyres have seemed to have been taken by most of the drivers, including Bailey Brannan and some of the others as well. Time for the first time to get something from Jim. Hello.
Well, Kermit the Frog here. Still have my voice fried, but I wanted to stop in for a second and recognize Trey Graber's car. He's running the cancer awareness ribbons, and he had sent me a message earlier this week about giving this car some love because his family is watching, and he apparently had lost some. Let's see, read real quick. He lost his mom to a battle of cancer 3 years ago. And his father-in-law lost the battle roughly 11 years ago. As did my family. I've lost my mother and my father to cancer, and so I told Trey I would give the car some love and just talk about cancer awareness a little bit. And we don't only have to wait for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. We should be aware of cancer at any stage and point in the year. So I just wanted to do that. I'm going to retire back here to my throat lozenges, and it was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for and I presume that's the name above his window net there as well. I don't know that, but I presume so. The name's been run on the car here tonight as well for Trey. So great thing to do, and so far showing it really well as well. Up 21 so far in this race, and he's going to be restarting here from the front row. Pitted on lap 17 with a lot of the other guys after that caution. Interestingly, quite a lot of those who went for the early caution stop have also come in under this one, so they've sort of foregone all of that track position gain that they would have had. Anyway, into the Chop House Restorations restart zone they go, and for the first time tonight it is not Trey Jones at the front of the field. Instead it's Daniel Wing who gets us back underway here at Charlotte with those 3 cars on slightly older tyres out in front.
The worrying pressure now for that top 3 is, well, Trey Jones has not taken a set of tyres under this stop. Bailey Brannan has, so he's on fresh rubber, so he's now going to have the grip advantage over these top 3 cars. So Daniel Wing will be trying to defend this as best he can across this restart zone. The hope for him is obviously we get caution after caution over the next 14 laps, because that would then keep him at the front of the field and keep him in P1. But for Brannan, he is making moves past Gill as the caution is thrown. And it looks to be Joe Dyson who's caused the caution this time by.
He is off track at the moment. Lucas Domini is still in pit, or is in pit lane again. So we'll figure out why that is as they come off of 4. How did this?
Well, he's just been served by the 98 car.
He has rather.
I take no ownership of that.
It looked to me like they were already slowing down for a caution.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just my eyes, but it looked like they were slowing down for the caution that had already flown there.
Yeah, that was odd. There's no other incident that's been called, so I'm not 100% sure, unless he was trying to slow up to make the corner, because he turned in too early, I'm not sure, but that is a weird one. That is a really, really weird incident to have. The beauty is it's benefiting Daniel Wing to have cautions like this, because it is keeping him right at the front of the field. Now, Brannon was making moves with those fresh tyres already. Clark's also on fresh rubber, and then Jack Anderson is the next car with fresh rubber as well. Graber and Jones, both the Treys, not obviously taking tyres. In fact, Trey Graber's actually come back into pit road, so maybe he feels he can't actually make it to the end of this stint now on that fuel load that he took under the caution a few laps ago.
I think more likely is that he's not taken tyres like the rest of them, so wants to be a bit off strategy with everybody else. So he's going to pit now. I'd say he's going to stay out under the stage caution, and then come in again a little bit later on, obviously. But he's not taken any tyres yet. We're fast approaching lap 40. He's thinking, well, it's probably about time I did take some tyres now, because on that restart anyway, I got eaten alive. The other good thing for Daniel Wing, by the way, other than what you've already mentioned, is the fact that Logan Gill is on the same strategy alongside him. If he had a new tyre runner starting alongside him, it'd be a lot more difficult, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think having that similar strategy of Gill, that is probably a saving grace at the moment, because obviously they're going to be blocking the lane for Bailey Brannon to come past. The most important thing now is, if they want to hold him back, they're going to have to try and make a bit of a deal between themselves just to defend and just to go too wide and not worry about battling for position, because if they begin to battle, Brannon's going to eat them alive because he is on those fresh tyres. The beautiful thing for them is that Trey Jones is not on fresh tyres, so his tyres are actually older than both Gill and Wing, so he's not going to have the grip advantage over them, but they do have to keep an eye on Clark and Anderson and Mackey in behind them too, because those guys have got some solid pace tonight, and they're on fresh rubber as well.
Absolutely. It's caution taking. Is it just me, or has it been a lap longer than normal? Maybe it's just me.
No, I don't think so. Maybe. I think we were off the replay a lot sooner than we normally would be.
Maybe you're right. Anyway, the caution will end now in a lap's time. That'll be the end of 39. So it'll be 11 to go until the stage, and then the first stage will be complete. But that'll be 3 cautions in the first stage. We're going to almost increase our average of cautions per lap. As you rightly point out, Daytona it was 9 laps. Need to go back and check what the average was from Nashville, but it wasn't too dissimilar over the course of just 75 laps that we got last week. And we're not quite on that same average here, but not much more either.
Plus or minus 1 lap, I think it was for Nashville. It was roughly the same. So at this stage, I mean, we have actually had probably some longer green runs at the start of this race, but it's a long race. I mean, 150 laps. We could easily see a lot more cautions at the midpoint or towards the end as well, Ewan. So that's going to be a big factor for these cars as well. Lights out are on the pace car though. So restart zone is about to get lit up with Daniel Wing and Logan Gill getting this race restarted. Cars are just getting, a little bit bumper car-ish a bit further back, it seems.
Very restless.
Yeah.
Very nearly just rear-ending one another down there, which is not particularly ideal at all. But anyway, Daniel Wing will bring them into the restart zone again, the Chop House Restorations restart zone, as it is this season, and we're back underway here at Charlotte. Now, where can these new tyre runners get to before this stage is complete? How much resistance can Logan Gill and Daniel Wing put up to this? Well, already Bailey Brannon has got in the middle of them. He's opened up the 2 out front who really could have helped each other here and blocked the front of the race, if you like. They've not done that, either by design or because they couldn't. And now they are at the mercy of those newer tyre runners here on this restart.
Yeah, I think the fact that we've had cautions now has really hurt them as Chris Mackey's off the road down at the quad oval. He's just dropped a couple of spots, plus Taylor Strong further back in the field. This could be a caution if we're not careful. But Brannon wants to get the race lead.
Yeah.
He gets it as the yellow is thrown. So Brannon will be the race leader off this restart. Couldn't ask for a better position to be in.
Just about as well. He only just got his nose in front in time for that caution to fly. Let's see what happened here. Smackey's in the 9. So what has gone on here for him? Off of 4. Oh, 34 grabs the wall. And Mackey goes through the grass. Looks like he's held it though.
He has held it, and I don't think there was much more. There wasn't much more either of them can do there. I think that's more or less just a racing incident. You know, realistically, I mean, the wall. If you're going to blame anyone, you blame the wall there for that incident. But it seems to me Brannon and Wing can't decide which one of them is actually the race leader.
No.
Now we saw.
right.
Oh my God!
Oh, that 12 car got walloped by somebody as well off camera there.
Yeah, he did. So it's just...
and there you go. That's who it was. Oh, have a look at this. Someone's going to come through. Oh no, there it is. Top of the screen again.
Oh my God!
Some debris going up, flying into the air. See if we can grab a look at actually what went on back there. But anyway, there's the aftermath of the accident. Some pit stops happening down the back of the field. If you're towards the front, you're not going to be stopping. That's for sure.
That's the 12 car. So that there is Logan Yuka. No, but it was Yuka that got hit post contact. So if we focus on the 12, we should see him get hit again after he makes contact with the 21.
Well, he better do after a go job like this because he does get hit. And
I hope so. I hope so.
Oh,
I hope
no.
we can at least see it.
I'm not going to say that I hope so, but he might well do. No. There's the contact, and there's the.
Was it the 8 car that hit him? Was it the 8 that hit him?
It appears like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's very odd. Yuka's P23 at the moment, Jim, so that'll probably help you find him. Yeah, it was Yuka. It's Yuka, the number 12 car. You're welcome.
Saying you're welcome to someone who can't be heard on the street. But anyway, here we go. It was a double team there.
Oh, it was the
0
75 who's already used his fast repair. So this may be race over for Bill Dickey II. And for Lucas Domini, who would have already used his fast repair as well. So that's 2 cars.
Well, that's a big disappointment.
Yeah, it is.
Those two.
No, we're not worried about the fans with that hood goading put out there. It's a good that there is a good souvenir for someone. That'll end up on eBay, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
it'll pay for the hospital bill. It'll pay for the hospital bill, Jim. Don't worry.
Not sure about that. Based on the country we're in. Anyway,
probably not.
Just so that everyone knows, I am absolutely riling these guys up behind the scenes. They can't hear me. You can't hear me mostly, but I am absolutely riling them up. Back to the race, though.
We can't tell when you can be heard by the stream, when you can't. We can tell you all the time. So that makes it a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, 6 laps to go when we restart, and we'll see where these guys on motor tyres can end up, because it's going to be a real short dash, and we're going to have another caution in a minute.
Well, we're definitely going to. If we get a caution, by about lap 48 or 49, then that's going to be caution. That's going to be caution to the stage end, and that'll give the caution, or sorry, get the words right, the stage win to whoever is leading at the caution period. But Brannon will lead us away. I don't think Wing, Gill, or Jones can contest these drivers on new tyres. Chop House Restoration's restart zone's about to get lit up again, Ewan. Let's see how we go across the next 7 laps.
Absolutely. Here we go. Just a few laps to the first stage of the night. First of 3 here in the longest race, as Bailey Brannon gets them underway. Gill and Wing rather going side by side in the way that they probably should have done in the previous restart so that they could try and keep the new tyre runners behind them for just a little bit longer. But that's not what's happened here. They're underway again, and this surely is going to be a stage win for Brandon unless things go really wrong for him.
Yeah, unless he makes a mistake and that car gets loose off of 4, I highly doubt that he is going to lose this stage win now. He has perfected the strategy call here of this race. It's lap 46 of 150.
Whack there, wasn't it? Off of 4.
Yeah.
It was a real whack. And there it is. There's another caution. That'll end the stage, I think. That might end the stage.
Possibly.
Another caution.
Yeah.
We are averaging just 9 laps of green flag run at the moment. A very, very stop-start to nature to the day. And there's the contact.
Yep, and that there is the 69 nice car of Robert Stevens Jr., who's ended up off the road, unfortunately for him.
Made a rather baffling decision to come in under the lap 32 caution when he had more than enough fuel to make it home, and I'm sure he's regretting that decision now as he gets caught up in a midfield mess.
Very well, may be regretting it, but we'll see how it progresses on forward. But lap 40, yeah, 69 nice. You have to say them together, Jim. You have to say them together. I know they can't. Don't worry. That message was literally just for you. But I mean, Ewan, if this is the stage end, probably the best way it could have ended for Daniel Wing and Logan Gill, because otherwise they were going to get eaten alive by the fresh tyre runners.
Well, as I was sort of guessing, well, I was totally guessing early on. I suspected that might be the case where the new tyres wouldn't quite make as much of a difference around here as what they might do at some other places that we're going to go to this season. And you know, they were holding their own, but I agree, they would have lost some more places. And so it's probably best that it came out at this stage. However, that's what I think we're going to... I'm not sure what Irish System's going to do about this, and indeed what the guys afterwards are going to do as far as points are concerned with this, because I think we're going to go back green as we're hitting lap 50. So how does that work?
Well, I think it'll mean that the caution is thrown at the end of lap 50 then, wouldn't it? We'd get one green lap.
But, no, I mean the green would be flown at the end of lap 50 is what I mean.
Oh, I suppose they would... You know what? Let's ask Trey Graber. He's in the waiting room. Let's ask the admin of the series. Trey, we have a confirmation question for you. Now, obviously, this caution's been thrown with around about 5 laps until the stage end. It looks to be we're going to go green as the stage would technically end. So has the stage ended now, or is it going to go one green lap and then the stage will end and we'll get another caution?
So the way auto stages works, if it's thrown with less than 2 laps to go, it automatically ends the caution. So we will take the green and white flag at the same time and run 1 lap, and as soon as 10th place crosses the start-finish line, that'll be the end of the stage.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So, 6th caution in 50 laps. We're gonna bring that average down to what, 6?
8?
No, that's not right.
No, it's not. I think it's about 8.
Yeah, no. 8. How many have we had? I've lost count already. I'm running out of fingers.
Yeah, I think we've had 6. It would be every 8 laps, because 6 by 8 is 48. So yeah, roughly every 8 laps.
50 divided by 6 is about 8.
Yeah.
Between 8 and 9. Yeah. So
Folks,
there we go.
Who knew you were going to get a math lesson while watching the race?
As Trey Graber has said, 1 lap to go, and then we will be under caution. So I still think this is probably good for Wing and Gill, but they might lose another place now before the end of this stage.
Oh, they might do, but I don't know. The cautions and the changing of it has helped them. The cautions have helped them so much throughout this race that it's probably kept them in the hunt for a top 10 here in the stage. I don't think they're going to drop outside the top 10, Ewan, but I don't think they're going to be in the top 3 off this restart. I think we're going to be lap 50 as we get restarted. We're going to get 1 lap. They can easily drop 3 positions in 1 lap with those old tyres now.
I'm going to go on a limb and say one of them will finish second, and the other one will lose a couple of places. But there's my prediction for this restart. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Just one lap until the end of the first stage here in the Skylark 225. We get into the Chop House Restorations restart zone, and we're back underway. Just 30 seconds of racing effectively to dish out the first points of the night, and of course a playoff point as well to the driver who's going to win the stage. It looks like it's going to be Bailey Brannan, who will take the most amount of stage points of anybody. Here he'll have just about more than Pruitt as things stand, if he can hold on to the stage win here. In fact, it's Wing and Gill who are fighting for second amongst themselves here, and Preston Clark in the background trying to take that position off them as well. They are side by side as Brannan tries to do as little as possible to win this stage. Off for 4 they come, inside line for Clark, and he doesn't quite get there. It's Brannan ahead of Wing, Gill and then Clark, and so the old tyre runners hold on for second and third in a good showing for those old tyres.
They somehow pulled it off. They did well to survive, but Brannan takes home the first stage win of this race. It'll be 50 laps until the next stage break, but we expect everybody to come into pit road now. And I think this is probably a good time though for us to hear a quick word from the series sponsors, of course, because there are a few of them, and I think very worth showing them off.
When it's midnight, keeping it tight. If people wanna go to war, it can get dark, but we stay bright. Coming like a knight, it's on sight. Ever touch my feet? They wanna disagree when it's clear that I'm speaking facts. Man like me, you know I'm proactive. Never gonna stop till I see the big man's on flats.
Hop on the front door, it's like midnight. Don't lose your grip, cause you might fall out again. Off-white whip, need for speed. I'm not switching the lane. Pick up the pace, bro, like that.
Well, a big thanks, of course, to Skylark for becoming the premier sponsor for this series this season, and of course, title sponsoring this race, the Skylark 225 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. As we now get to the end of the first stage, it's time for some more pit stops. Apart from for some of those down in the pack who came in under the lap 32 caution, which was quite a popular one for a lot of drivers coming in. Nicholas Meadows stays out. Chris Mackey does as well. Paul Harris, easy for me to tell you who stayed out rather than come in. Then it's Zach Smathers stayed out, so is William Hawker, Quintin Morrow, Tyler Murgy, Trey Graber, although he came in a caution after the one lap 32. By the way, William Hawker, it says on my timing that he's only been in on lap 16 and that's it. So that's a really puzzling one for him to stay out. But anyway, a mixture of 2 tyre and 4 tyre stops. Bailey Brannan takes another 4 by the looks of things, at least a full tank. Jack Anderson, still I'm not sure he's taken all 4. That's another half tank for him. And he gets out first of those who pitted under that caution there.
Yeah, it seems that he's taken the track position. I mean, he's back to where he started this race in P13. He would have taken 2 on that last, on the stop prior to now. And to, go 2 stops in this race at lap 52. Effectively, he's right ahead of the leader, who has taken 2 more tyres on that last stop, it seems to me, Ewan. So, for Anderson, I mean, he'll be in a solid spot, but are fresh tyres going to benefit Brannan more than the tyres that he had? I'm not sure. I mean, they might help him eventually throughout this stint, but with caution after caution possibly happening, it may not help him that much, and he may have just wasted a set.
I think he's been quite pragmatic about the fact that you've effectively, if you split it up, 5 tyre changes is 6 tyres over the course of the race. We've got 3 stages, 2 tyre sets per stage. He's already used 2 tyre sets, so there's almost no downside I don't think in his mind to actually taking another 4 there. But I wouldn't have taken 4 either, if I'm honest, from that caution there. Having said that, he hasn't actually lost very much time because he was first on the way in, and most of the others who came in with him also took tyres. So he's only now behind those who stayed out, but there were quite a lot of them, the top 12, all deciding to forego that stage caution. And that's the thing about the stages, really. It allows those guys at the back of the field to decide, well, I'm not going to get the 10 points. I might as well just top off on fuel on lap 47. That's what some of these guys have done. It's got them to the to a good track position, and it's just given us a completely different look to the front of this race.
It has, and it's good that we can get, this different period of different cars at the front of the field. Now, for Chris Mackey, he was at the front of the field previously, of course, and then he was knocked off track, unfortunately, by a car just tapping the wall. Neither of their fault. But I think that he's probably the strongest car aside from maybe Paul Harris in this sort of top 5 to top 6. Tyler Murgy's up there, but he's a bit of a loose cannon from time to time. Trey Graber, well, he hasn't got the pace of the field, so we'll see how well he does. But the restart zone, that may decide who we get off of this green flag run as we enter it once again and look to go racing for the second stage. What the hell was that off of the restart zone?
I'm not sure who it was, but there was definite contact in the restart zone there, and we get away with it somehow. But I think as a bit of medicine for all of these guys, they could all do with a longer green flag run here, to be honest, just to settle some nerves and take out some of the anxiety almost from this field here. Feels like everybody's been very, very uptight so far and a bit nervous about what's still to come. But a nice green flag run would do everybody a lot of good here, I think. And at the moment, they're just not quite getting it. No, we're not going to get it at all.
Oh my God!
Like racing before the end, I wonder.
It is monstrous. I've just clicked back to have a look at it. There are about 5 cars. There's a car park at the start-finish line. This here is a massive incident off this restart. Multiple cars involved. Devin Trusty was one of them, but just all hell breaking loose. Absolute disastrous moment for those guys back there. But we spoke about those guys not coming in under the caution. They've taken track position, and track position can be a massive benefit, especially at this, the midpoint of the race where we often get chaos like this, Ewan. So they're sitting pretty at this stage, staying out of trouble. They might be in a solid position coming into the race.
No, without sounding like a granddad in his armchair, just looking down on people who are doing a job way clearly harder than I could ever do. But have these cars got looser since practice, or
I don't know,
or what?
I don't know.
Because we should have. We've seen these guys in practice. We saw a lot of guys doing laps. We saw some of these guys get over 100 laps in practice. Suddenly, it looks like nobody knows how to deal with getting loose off of turn 4, and I don't understand how that's happened.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. One of the cars that were involved in that incident, though, was the pole sitter, Trey Jones, who is now down 17 positions into P18. Bailey Brannon as well was also involved, who was one of the strongest runners we were looking to off that restart. Obviously, he was starting just in behind Jack Anderson, who was then the number 1 seed off that pit stop, our projected race leader once we get through our pit stop strategies throughout this next stage of this race. And they're big losses. I mean, Yuka, this is his second incident tonight. It's a lot of cars lost, a lot of fast repairs that'll have to be used now. This is now going to put them on edge, Ewan, for the next period of this race. I mean, second stage, it's still 50 laps long, but the way that this race is going, the more incidents these drivers have, the less cars we're going to have for the third and final stage of this race later on.
The way this race is going, I'm starting to look at the 3-hour 10 time limit, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure running all of these laps under caution you could actually reach it, by the way. So I don't think you could.
I don't think you could, to be honest.
But anyway, they are giving it a good go at the moment. Is that number 9? No, number 7. Number 7. Anyway, that's we're certainly down less on that average now of less than 9 a lap at 9 runs per run. Sorry, and yeah, that is a shame to see, really. In all honesty, but there you go. It is the way the early part of this race has gone, and now we might get to test our little theory. Actually, for some of those guys who came in under that stage break, is it possible for you to do the whole 50 laps without stopping if it is a very, very caution-heavy stage? And that theory might well get a real testing here.
I think if the top 8 cars will definitely need a stop prior to the stage end, because otherwise they're having to go 70 laps on their fuel, and that's doubling pretty much the stint, so that's nigh impossible. everyone else who pitted under the caution, the more cautions we get, the better it's going to suit them. I don't think any of them who pit on lap 50 should pit early. I think they need to run that tank dry and just see where this goes, because it's a slim possibility, but it's always a possibility, Ewan, that we go caution after caution all the way for the next 50 laps, and they all of a sudden don't need a pit because they've been saving maximum fuel. So we will see how it works out off the restart, but it's definitely a possibility of happening.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier actually to myself about how many cautions it would require, and I suspected maybe maximum you might need is maybe eight cautions, but actually that's not out of the realms of possibility at all, based on what we've just seen in that first stage. Especially this stage has started with more cautions, of course, than what we had last stage. Early on, we didn't get this, so it'll be very interesting to see. Don't forget the first few laps of the second stage knocked off, of course, because of the stage caution, which is not what you get at the very start of the race as well. So anyway, let's see what happens here on another restart. As they get into the Chop House Restorations restart zone, they're 2x2, but they're not going green.
No, we're going to go green, I think, this next lap by, it seems. So it's one more under caution, or under the pace car. Caleb Ross has just gone off track, by the way, and then come back off track. He's still going off track further back, so this may actually... Oh my god, he's actually lost it under the caution in the 27 car. I don't know how this is possible and how this has happened. We've seen this previously at Daytona, where cars have made contact. Oh, no, okay, no, he's just pulled over. I think he might have had an issue. That there looks to be a technical issue, whether that's a screen blanking out or a skill issue, perhaps. I'm not sure, but that looks like... No, I think he's only just getting going again. I think that there is a genuine technical issue where it's either the rig or it's his screen, or if he runs VR, his VR's had an issue, and he's just pulled off to get out of everyone's way. So he's tried to do the nice and considerate thing there of just getting out the way of the field at this stage of the race.
He has, and that is a shame for him. So as we go back to live, we'll be very close to a restart here as they come around turns 3 and 4. As I say, hopefully we'll get some green flag laps in, but every time we say that, the runs get shorter because the first time they see turn 4, they're all off the circuit. So let's hope that that's not the case this time around, as Nicholas Meadows brings them into the restart zone again, and will get us underway again here in a couple of moments' time. Look at the bunching in the background, by the way, as they're all trying to anticipate the green flag. That doesn't help, but Meadows now just get them back underway again. And at the start of lap 61, we're racing again here at Charlotte. Just how far are we going to get this time round?
So just to give the update on Caleb Ross, he has made it back to pit road. He'll obviously try and get that issue sorted out now. He probably did a quick fix just to get himself going again. The Vagisil car, the 81 entry here of Zach Smathers, fighting away with Paul Harris in the 91 car for P3 on the road at this stage. The 17, which looks like a sticker bombed entry of Quinton Morrow, is battling away as well. So this is all for position. Now these guys will need a stop before the stage end, of course, even with an inundated amount of cautions. The only possible drivers who could do it, it's Bass Pro Shop's entry that, I mean, it looks like the wall of a Bass Pro Shop, I must say, just covered in sponsorships. As the caution is thrown, it's William Hawker, who's had an incident further back in the field in the 90 entry. And again, the more cautions we get, this is only benefiting those drivers who made it to the end of the stage break before a pit stop. And he got it loose off of turn 2 and then just straight bang into the wall on the left-hand side on the back stretch. So that's big contact for the 90 car. And if you're in that pack of cars who pitted at the end of the stage break, you're currently licking your lips right now, Ewan, thinking, well, if this continues, we can make it to lap 100 and we're going to be in here for some solid stage points.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not understanding this at the moment. I'm going to get some data on a race that I commentated on last winter around this circuit with some Europeans and see if we got longer green flag runs of this. Am I seriously misremembering Charlotte here, or has this become a very difficult circuit to drive? I don't remember it being like this at all.
Yeah, these guys are making it look like the Nordschleifer of ovals at this stage. When we head back to live, the pace car has just pulled them across the start-finish line. This was that was them when they were all getting caught back up. Well, that photo of Quinton Morrow explains why his livery looks like that. I must say, that man shops at Bass Pro Shops for sure.
Is that a slur?
No. I don't know. He definitely goes fishing for sure.
Very good. Is that what they do? Bass Pro Shops fishing? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It's a fishing and tackle shop.
Is that in Australia as well?
No, it's not.
No, that's an American thing. By the way, Paul Harris promised us a special livery for tonight.
Paul Harris apparently is. Are you talking to everybody?
No, I am talking to everyone. Yes, he promised us a special livery, and apparently he's failed to deliver on it. And I'm going to call him out for it because he wanted to get some TV time based on some comments that I made in another race, and he was going to have a special livery, and he didn't run that special livery, so I'm calling him out for it. There you go, Mr. Harris.
There we go. That's him. Sobbing.
Rhiannon claiming in the chat as well, someone must have dropped oil or dumped oil all over the way they'd be slipping and sliding all over the place. I mean, not that it does happen, but maybe the amount of incidents we've had has caused some oil slick to happen down at 4, and that's causing it to be a bit less or a bit more slippery. Tyle Murgy, though, in the back of his car is looking a bit worse for wear at this stage. I don't think DuPont will be happy with the changing of their logo, the way it's been distorted. Ours, just to confirm for you, Ewan, our version of Bass Pro Shop would be BCF, which is boating, camping, and fishing. That's pretty much our major.
To be fair, we probably have something pretty similar in the UK, but I don't go fishing, and I regularly.
I don't go fishing either, but I do go camping. So,
I regularly take the mick of people who do. Only one friend I know who does do it.
I think unless you want to spend the day on a boat, which a day on a boat can be nice, I don't see the point in fishing on a waterside. I'd rather go explore something.
Sit outside a pond and just.
I'm an LSU fan, just so that everyone knows. I'm an LSU fan from Louisiana, and I refuse to show this car anymore. That's it. One time. There you go. Never to be seen again. Because it's a Florida Gators car. We don't do that.
Yes, I see. Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So that's some rivalry that I don't understand.
College football.
There we go. Anyway,
the green flag running.
Yeah, the race is. I didn't even realise the pace car was coming into pit lane, to be honest with you. But anyway, we're back underway. Nicholas Meadows, there you go, is in the lead of the race. And well, how long is he going to be leading them for? And Wednesday decided to pit, by the way, because he's been out there 34 laps now. Admittedly, not many of those under green. Barely any at all. But how far can he go? And when's the best time to come in? I can't ever feel when he pits, he'll just sink to the back of the field.
Very, very likely will. Preston Clark now, by the way, is the top-seeded car who pitted on lap 52. He's up to P5 now. He did take tyres on that stop. Anderson, who we mentioned, did not take tyres. He has got Tyler Murgy in behind him, who does need another stop, though, to get to the stage end. But as we said, the more cautions we get, it's going to benefit those cars. They'll hope for a long green run, though, for at the front of the field, because that will at least kind of stop hurting them as much as these cautions would be. But they look to just continuously be getting loose as they're pushing on forward through these sectors. Out through turn 4, out through turn 2 as well. Oh, but they are getting tantalisingly close with danger in this race.
Absolutely, and Chris Mackey here showing all the prowess that he showed us in the practice session now by moving on the inside of Meadows into 3 and 4, and Meadows decides that it is not worth it at the moment. In fact, he goes for an up and under. Oh, you don't see that very often. He goes for the low side off of 4. He'll actually lead another lap as they get to the end of 68. That was a very good overtake, but that was a road course move, really, through 3 and 4. Now Mackey on the outside is going to fly past in a much more conventional over-racing fashion.
I'd like to point out we're on lap 69. Nice. of this race. The reason I point this out as well is these guys put on lap 32, so they've actually gone 37 laps with cautions to this point of the race. So it'll be interesting now how far they can actually go before they need another pit stop as they get to lap 70. So they've gone about 38 laps so far. The original amount that they could go was roughly a maximum of 32 laps. So they've already gained 6 off these cautions. We'll see how many more they've gained throughout the rest of this stage.
Looking forward to the race at the Red Bull Ring where there won't be lap 69, to be honest with you. That'll be good.
I deliberately call that at every time, just for you, Ewan. Just for you.
Thanks. I hope you're not going to do it on the penultimate lap at Talladega when it's very exciting. But the seventh that race. But anyway, let's cross that bridge when we get to it in about 1 million years, end of September. Further, I'm getting a bit nauseous, really, watching this green flag racing at the moment. This is amazing. Still side by side, further on down. This is sort of back end of the top 10 at the moment. Jack Anderson's going side by side as well, by the way, at the moment with Preston Clark. He's moving up to 6th place. Still, actually, he's the best place now of those who picked under the stage break.
That's battle for the effective race lead, actually, between Anderson and Clark. Clark with the fresher tyres on board that 14 car. But this is the effective battle for the race lead once these guys ahead of them have to make their pit stop. As we said, the more cautions we get, the better it's going to suit these guys for a stage win here tonight. They're sitting pretty at the moment, though. I mean, their cars are looking clean. They've stayed out of trouble, and they're running their strategies as best they can. I don't know. By the time it gets to the end of the race, I mean, some of the front runners have already been marred with incidents, including Trey Jones, who's fought his way back up to P9 at this stage of the race. But there are a couple of them who've been caught out by it, you know, especially the number 6 car, Bailey Brannon, who's unfortunately all the way back down in P24 at this stage of the race as well. So the battle's on, and it's anyone's game as we're now just coming up to the halfway point of this race in 2 laps' time.
Trey Jones one is interesting, especially here in the number 1 car, because he is, he, as you say, did get involved in that incident quite recently, and it's really moved forward. And that's a sign of a good car, isn't it? A good driver as well. The fact that he's not only able to run out front in the clean air, but he is also able to race his way through, which is exactly what he's doing at the moment. Chris Mackey and Nicholas Meadows also battle away at the front of this field. They are now into lap 42 of their stint, though, and this is a long way past what you would have expected at the start of the day from these guys. This is the back of Meadows, I think. No, it is, and there's Mackey out front as well as they get to, at the end of this lap, officially halfway in this race. A very caution-filled first half.
Yeah, they've done well to get to this point. It only took us an hour in this race to get to halfway, so that says we should be here for another hour at least towards the end of this race. But good green flag running means that we're getting into some solid sections now as the first of those pit stoppers are coming in. So Smathers, Morrow, Murgy, they're all into pit road. So this looks to be the end of this run for these cars who pit on lap 32. Top 3 cars now will need to pit very shortly, and the battle for the race lead is between Anderson, Jones, Clark and Stevens. Stevens will need another pit stop though, of course. He pitted on lap 47, so he will need to come down pit road very shortly as well. But it looks to be the maximum they could get with those pace cars was 44 laps. So maybe one more caution would have gotten them the extra 6 laps, it seems, Ewan. But now we've got a battle for the lead.
We absolutely have, and it's between a whole new set of drivers. I'm afraid to say I told you so, but that is why I've been opposed to their strategy from the beginning, to be honest, because all it takes is one long green flag run just where you're not expecting it, and suddenly you're stuck making a green flag pit stop, which is a complete disaster for the race. And that means that those guys who are pitted under the stage are going to race away. Admittedly, they will have to stop in the next 10 laps or so as well. They're not going to make it to the end of the stage, because, as you say, those guys we've just seen now only made it 44 laps, and they had more cautions in their stint than these guys have had so far in theirs. They're about to get to lap 30, so I would say, as I say, another 10 laps maybe, but not much further than that, as Trey Jones is about to complete, very nearly anyway, about to complete his run back to the head of the race.
If these guys can get cautions across the next 10 laps, that will then benefit them, and that could get them just that little bit further and we may find then that they actually sit pretty and sit in a solid position. If we go another maybe 3 or 4 laps, Ewan, without a caution, then I think they're locked into having to do a pit stop. They probably need one within those next few, as Clark has just collided with the wall at the front of the field in the 14 car. But these top 4 cars battling away for position. The top 17 cars, well, it's about to be top 16 cars, are the only cars left on the lead lap at this stage as well, Ewan. So battle for the lead's heating up, but they need a caution in the next few laps if they hope to make it to the end of the stage break. But they're going to need more than just one.
They certainly are. As it's still side by side for the lead. Trey Jones on the inside, never getting the run off the corner though. That goes to Preston Clark, just using the outside to pull back past again. Now they race each other door to door and just taking himself off of the blue line at the bottom there. Jones just drifts up slightly and that helps him take the lead here as they complete lap 80, 70 to go here from Charlotte in the Skylark 255, and he's taken the lead here ahead of Preston Clark and then Robert Stevens Jr., who's next in line.
Told it's a slide job he apparently did. Trey Graber, Jamie Violet as well are now into pit road as well, Ewan. So there's there's 2 cars in the top 14 that pitted prior to lap 52 that will need a stop to get to the end. That is Cody Nelson and Robert Stevens Jr., who's amongst this battle. In fact, Nelson's just coming down pit road now. So we're getting these pit stops in. Stevens will need to pit shortly. That will promote Anderson up to P3 in the stage as they get close. Clark here is really tiptoeing with danger, it seems, you, and constantly getting wide and just getting loose and sliding into the wall every so often.
That was super close that time as well. Because, you know, we had on the outside line there, Preston Clark was so close to getting an overlap there on Jones, who was going to come up in on the exit of 2 there, almost no matter what it looked like, and he just about got away with it. But he's getting a better run now in the 14, is Preston Clark, and he runs right round the outside back into the lead again. So a couple of laps in the lead again for the 1 car, and he's just lost it just as quickly.
So top 11 cars now the last on the lead lap, but these cars, of course, will need a pit stop very shortly. We've gone now 31 laps since the stage break. With a couple of cautions, though, we assume they can probably make it to around about lap 90, Ewan. And I think the strategy for these guys is you just fill it up with 10 laps worth of fuel and get it to the stage end.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I guess, or do you accept the fact that you're not racing those guys who've already stopped because they're undercutting you massively? If this is a whole green flag run right to the end of the stage, then those guys who I was criticising earlier for making the wrong call will turn out to be the geniuses, because they'll come out towards the front and they'll win the stage. But I think they're taking a big risk by presuming this will go caution free up until that point. But either way, I think personally, if you need to accept at the front of the field that you're not going to come out with those guys anymore. So I would take 4 tyres, full tank of fuel, stay out at the caution at the end of the stage, and just accept the fact you're not going to be in the top 10 at the end of 100 laps here.
It's probably the smarter choice. You could try and go for the race win more so than the stage points. You know, a few of these drivers were within the top 10 at the last stage. I mean, Preston Clark, Trey Jones, Jack Anderson, I think Charles Rinker, Daniel Wing, who's just pitted again, by the way. He's back into pit road as Daniel Wing. Bailey Brandon, Logan Gill, they were all amongst the top 10 at the stage break. So they all got stage points last time by. They'll be hoping to double up on stage points now, as Chris Mackey's just trying to unlap himself amongst this battle pack as well. So once these guys come down pit road, those guys will get their lap back, but they're going to have to go a full lap to get back past them again if they hope to pass them once they exit pit road.
14 to go now until the stage, and this is only a matter of time now for these guys at the front, who will be hoping a little bit for a caution. Daniel Wing doing your strategy of only taking the fuel required to get to the end of the stage, by the way. Same for Devon Trusty as well, who is going to be he's not coming to the pit lane now. That's what he did in the previous time round, so might well take 4 this time round. But there goes Chris Mackey unlapping himself. Nicholas Meadows just in front. They are effectively the 2-stage leaders, as into the pit lane comes Preston Clark from the actual lead of the race. He comes into the pit lane along with a few others.
Yep, Stevens and Anderson followed him in, so they're they're taking the strategy now of coming down pit road. We'll see if they take tyres. I'm watching them on the second screen if we want to check them out, Jim, just to see if they do get up on those jacks for tyres. Not the Skylark ad this time by. There we go. So tyres on board the Clark car, tyres on board the Anderson car. What about Robert Stevens? He did not. He took 9 seconds. So he may have only taken one side, I think, but the other two are taking all 4. So these guys are... I hope you said that over the live air, Jim. I really hope you did. Oh, what a shame. So Clark, Anderson, Stevens, they've come out just out the back end. Stevens come out in P10. Clark and Anderson are rejoining the circuit roughly around about P13 and P11 off the restart zone. But they've got fresh rubber on their cars now, Ewan, and they've got 11 laps. So they can chase down the front runners as Jones comes in. Oh.
I'm not sure he will have slowed that down in time, to be honest. That was very, very fast.
Oh, yeah.
Down on pit lane, I would say too fast, if you ask me. But we'll see how long the pit stop time is anyway. As cycling through to the lead now is Chris Hone, by the way. Just waiting as long as possible, and that is the right call here at this moment. Normally I'm not all for running the tank dry, to be honest, in this situation. But this specific situation, it definitely worked. Because if they catch a caution, you never know where these guys could get to here. It would trap a lot of people a lap down as well, as Chris Hone now comes into pit lane. So does Bailey Brannan, leaving only Logan Gill out front. He came in under the stage earlier, and he's clearly been fuel saving at the back, actually, a little bit, because he's gone nearly 40 laps now with the cautions we've had. But he surely will have to pit in along as well very soon.
So Trey Jones rejoins the circuit just in behind Tyler Murgy. Off the back of that pit stop. We'll see where Brannan and Hone end up. We've also got to watch Jones to come back down pit lane if it is a speeding in pits penalty, as Gill comes down pit road now. So that now promotes Nicholas Meadows back to the race lead. But are they on for a betterment strategy towards the end of this race, or are those guys who pitted a bit later, they're going to have the benefit? Well, they're going to be able to take a shorter stop if we go green to the end. Comparatively to these guys, you know, they're not going to be, these drivers are not going to be able to go as long. We've gone green ever since they pitted on lap 76 here, Ewan. So that says to me they can only make it to lap maybe 110 with the caution break for the stage. So we'll see how this all works out as the race leader continues on now with Chris Mackey in behind him. If we check back, though, with Preston Clark, he's trying to chase them down. At this stage, Ewan, do we think those guys who came in on 87 to lap 90, they can obviously, if we go green the whole way, they can go, with that caution for the stage break, they can maybe go 34 laps on this stint. So that's taken to, it's lap 121. So that means they only need that, they can get to a critical lap and then get home from that point with one stop. Yeah. Where, Meadows and co, they're going to need 2 stops to get home.
Well, yes, but one of them's under caution, and so that's the important thing, really. I think the amount of green flag stops to go is the same, and so there's not really any benefit. If I were them, I would... would I come in as well? I don't know. It doesn't really make much of a difference, but just to be on the safe side, especially if the guys in front come in, which I think they will, I would be in as well, because you don't want to be caught in a situation, especially now that we've seen it is possible, it turns out, to have a long green flag run in one go here. We've seen that you can definitely... as I say that, we've got a couple of cars off and we've got a caution. There it is. Car 15, it looked like. Maybe it was 35 or so. Cody Nelson.
35.
Yeah, 35, sorry. Yeah, down there. And so it's going to be another dash for the end of the stage. But, there we go. That's that point ended very abruptly.
Yep. So the 35 has then ended up off the road. So... what that says, so we're lap 95 now. We're going to get around about 4 laps or so under caution. So once we go green again, it'll be the stage end. That stage victory should go the way of Nicholas Meadows when we head back to live and back to our main screen. Because of the fact that, we were just mentioning that, if I think now with the stage end, you might as well stay out now, get to the caution ending, get to the one green flag to the end of the race, or to the end of the stint, sorry. If you've already pitted on lap 87 to lap 90, not worth coming in under the stage break, I would say, Ewan. If you pit it on lap 76 or earlier, definitely worth it, I would say.
There's a number of drivers from the... I would have said if
Yeah.
you're anywhere in the top 10, to be honest, you might as well stay out there for the stage points, but no.
Mathers, Mergy. Oh, I think they know you, and if they pit now, they can get to it to a 120, and then they can get home with one stop. And they're taking a guaranteed yellow flag stop here.
Yeah, and they're taking a perhaps not more importantly, just the same importance. They know that there's another caution to come after that where they won't have to stop and will gain quite a lot of track position, at least 10 places actually, because I think all the top 10 will be in at the stage, unless maybe those guys who pitted on 87, 89 will stay out.
I don't think the 87 and 89 lappers are going to pit because they can make it to lap 120 no matter what. There is no... and they've taken a full set of tyres, majority of them. There's no point in those guys coming in because you're adding an extra run down pit road when you don't need the fuel and you don't need the tyres at this stage. So, if you're in the position of Preston Clark, Jack Anderson, Trey Graber... not Trey Graber, sorry, he pitted on lap 80, so he'll very likely come in under the stage break. But even Trey Jones, Bailey Brannon, you're in a solid position now to just stay on track when the stage break happens. Push, get to your car to the front of the field and then push on to lap 120 and then come in for your final stop, take your full set of tyres and push on to the very end. If you're in the position of Clark, Anderson and Jones, I believe they have 2 sets left to go on the cars. So that then says to me that they're going to save a set for the final run home and they'll take a set on their next stop.
Yeah. I think so. As you have a look here at something.
I'm not sure what.
Just
to confirm as well, Trey Jones did not get a drive through, so I don't believe he had a speeding in pit lane penalty.
That's outrageous.
Yeah,
speed
I don't know how he pulled that off. He somehow did. But the Skylark 225 is about to get back underway again with the Chop House Restorations restart zone to come. Pace car's going to come in. We're going to do, we're lap 97 at the moment. We're going to go on lap 98, so we're going to get a couple laps here. Ewan, under green prior to the caution break. The stage break. If we do get a caution, though, that will end the stage. And we expect the top 3 runners to come in under the stage break as well.
Yep, at the very least, the top 3. We might get some surprises further down the field as well as to who might come in. But there's some relatively fresh tyres going on further down the field. Actually, some of the best positions might be for the likes of Zach Smathers. Although I raised eyebrows initially, Zach Smathers is maybe going to get a couple of stage points, sweep up a couple of those at the end, but also can stay out under the next caution at the stage, which will be interesting. 3 laps to go then here in the stage as they enter the Chop House Restorations restart zone again. This time Nicholas Meadows in control of the field. After starting on the outside of the front row, he's allowed the inside for this restart, and we're back underway again. Look at that in the background though. Preston Clark trying to use those 10-lap pressure tyres to come through on Mackie. Down the inside, looking on the outside, looking everywhere to try and go through, and there it is. There's the caution. Stage finished, all done. Meadows wins the stage, the second stage of the day, and adds another playoff point to his tally.
Yeah, it's the road dog Jesse James who's had an incident back here apparently, and he wouldn't want to be feeling like a new age outlaw at this stage, but he's caught the wall there, and that's heavy contact in the 5 entry.
Not given enough room on the entry to turn 1. Let's see if we can get a view onto everybody involved.
There was Wing on his inside, and he hasn't put the nose in far enough up, so I'd have to put the blame there on the 89 car because the 5 doesn't know he's there. He doesn't know that he's alongside him as he turns into the corner. He late punches it forward to try and get past him. That there is just it's an unfortunate incident. It has ended the stage. Watch for Meadows and Clark. Meadows, Mackie and Harris to come in when the pit lane opens.
But hold on, the pit lane opens before the stage finishes. So if they pit too soon, they'll miss it, and Mackie's going to miss it.
Yep.
So is Harris, Smathers as well, and Simmons. They came in before. That really makes even less sense.
Yep. So those guys have now just given up crucial stage points. The big winners out of all this are those 4 cars behind Meadows: Clark, Anderson, Jones, Brannan, who are currently on paper our battle for the race lead, and they're getting crucial stage points. I'll tell you what, I've been, favoritism aside, I've actually been very impressed by the fact that the Raw Dog strategy of Jack Anderson's actually worked out for him thus far. He's currently got points in both the stage breaks of this race, and he's on form to be up and around the podium by the end of this race if the strategy goes this way and the pit stops work out for him. He just needs to keep it clean, and that's what these... And you know what? The cars he's been around this race, Clark, Jones, Brannan, I'd be confident if I was in his car, because those guys they've been driving very clean all race, and I don't think he has anything to worry about in terms of them causing an incident with him. The only incidents that Brannan and Jones have been caught out by is a stack that they've then run into, which is not their fault. So if you're in their position, you've got to feel comfortable. It's Meadows is the one that's going to get caught out here, because he's, obviously he's taken the stage win, but he's going to have to pit, and he's going to have to end a little bit further back down the order. And he'll need another stop to get home as well. So he's got all the work to do if he wants to fight back forward to the top 10.
It's true, but he's got a playoff point. He's got the full 10 points from that stage as well, and he's just going to own it now and stay out, which I think fair enough at the moment. Although he does need a caution pretty quickly on the other side of this stage. Admittedly, Jack Anderson has got more points because of some slightly strange pit strategy, I've got to say, through that last caution there. Unless there's a rule I don't know about that means that when a caution ends a stage, the points are just taken when the caution comes out, and that's the end of it. Why you would do all that work to stay out and do that restart well to stay out and get solid points, and then think, I'll just come in a lap early anyway, why not?
So, interestingly enough, Meadows is actually staying out. So he's, with these few cautions we've had now, and if we get a couple more, he can very likely go 40 laps. But again, the furthest he can get to is lap 114. Now, if we were to go caution filled for this last stage, well, he could easily go 40 laps, and then he could pit on lap 110 and make it home. That's a massive dice roll and a massive gamble, though, to hope that you're going to get cautions that'll then save your race.
But do you think it's really that much of a gamble, though, based on what we've seen so far? Because I'd be doing exactly that, if I'm honest.
I think it's a gamble in the sense of you're never guaranteed cautions. No matter how many we have, you're never guaranteed them. And we've just had our longest green period of the whole race prior to this last caution. Prior to this one, I think it was, lap 95 we had that caution. So, if we've managed to go sort of 10 or 20 laps under green, we can possibly do it at the end of this race. Half the field's out, restart zone's about to get lit up again, and this final stage is about to get underway.
Here we go then. The run for home in the Skylark 225. The final stage gets underway from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Meadows leads the field away again, hoping for a caution in the first 15 laps or so, but if we do get a long green flag run, just like what we had at the end of stage 2, then it's going to be a lot more difficult, and it's going to be difficult for him anyway. Look at the new tyres of Preston Clark, who swoops from outside to the inside, and he's going to take the race lead on the first lap of this restart.
Yeah, Clark's been looking strong all throughout sort of this past half of the race, and he's still looking as strong as ever. Meadows now, the big issue, as you mentioned it, those older tyres on that car. Now, he has got the same amount of tyre sets left available to him as these runners at the front, but the question is, if we go green for a long period, he's going to get chewed up across the next portion of this race. He needs cautions. He wants to make sure that this car can make 40 laps on the next stint, because otherwise he's going to have to do 2 pit stops to get home.
And there's going to be more coming through on Meadows now as Jack Anderson gets to the inside, and we could be 3 wide if we're not careful. Looking at Bailey Brannan here to try and make it, but no, not quite. He stays behind, and perhaps sensibly so as well. The 22 gets up on the outside, and look at this now. This could be ugly for the driver on old tyres now. Drops to 4th place as through goes the 6th car of Bailey Brannan. He's running inside the top 3. And by the way, with Pruitt's issues earlier on today, Pruitt's still running down 6 laps down at the moment in 23rd, so he's still going picking up points, but Brandon will be points leader at the end of the day if it ends right now.
He definitely will be. He's got solid points on the board thus far across the first 2 stages, and if he can finish amongst this top 10 or even on the podium, might even get himself a race win if he's not careful. We could see him get some solid points as well. Logan Gill at this stage, he's running in P4, just in behind this battle pack, so he's done well to come back to this point in the 2 car. Could be on for a solid finish after the first 2 rounds have ended in tears for him, although running into the wall and getting loose off 4, that's not going to help him there, Ewan. The battle for the race lead is on, and any of these top 5 or even 6 cars could relatively win this race.
They absolutely can. I think these guys are on the strategy that is most likely pointing them towards a race victory as well, or at least a challenge at a race victory. But as we've seen tonight, the twists and the turns mean that you just never know who's really ahead and who's really on the best strategy. Brannan to the low side, he gets the lead ahead of Clark, and then Logan Gill, who's had multiple long stops tonight, by the way. He now races blue as Nicholas Meadows has to stop under green just 6 laps in here.
Yep, so he can only make it to lap 107, which was the projected stop for him. He'll definitely need one more stop now to get home, and it's going to kill him having to do this under green. He should have come in under the stage break, I think, Ewan. That there's a massive misplay on the behalf of Nick Meadows, and it's very likely cost him this race win.
Yeah, he should have come in at the end of not at the end of lap 101 when the 1 lap after the pit lane opened, so that he could come through and take the stage, and then yes, he would go right to the back end of the lead lap, but he would not be in the situation he is in right now, as you say, and this is a really bad moment now for Meadows. He's a lap down. He's barely got any tyre advantage to go with it as well, although he's only 18th. It's not a complete disaster. Yeah. He's out of the running as it stands for the race win. And Logan Gill, for the 3rd week in a row, he's in the running here. What piece of bad luck is waiting for him in the next 41 laps, I'm beginning to ask myself.
Shouldn't have said that, Ewan. You're turning into a witch now. You're going to put the curse on him. The issue now, the other issue now for Meadows is he also still needs a caution because he needs the lucky dog rule to get back onto the lead lap. Yep. So that's really killed him. If we go green the whole way, he's completely stuffed, and he's probably ruined his race by not coming in under that stage break.
By the way, and he needs it quick as well, because Trey Grabber has come in at last on lap 80. That's not too far away from another pit stop. If he suddenly, Meadows, becomes not the first car off the lead lap, he's not going to get the lucky dog either. So he needs it quick to guarantee it too.
Yeah, he does. If Graber comes in, although Graber's actually dropped position, he's actually no. Meadows should still be ahead of him because he was ahead of him prior to the pit stop. So he should still be ahead of him, but if there's a stage break, or no stage break, if there's a caution, that's going to ruin his race.
Yeah, exactly. Meantime, the battle for the lead is 7 cars strong, and look at the guys from the back coming through here on the newer tyres. Chris Mackey, one of them, who came in under the stage break. He gave up loads of stage points to do it, which I do question personally, but he's moved back forward to 5th place now. As you alluded to earlier on, some of these guys are really putting all the emphasis on the race win here rather than the stage points that were going to be awarded in there as well.
I think the race win, though, will get them more playoff points, which they know. Stage points are important, obviously, because it's the top 10 in the championship who gets into the playoffs. You don't get a guaranteed spot in the playoffs come the end of the season. With race wins, you get it by getting, obviously, playoff points, but also having been the top 10 in the championship as well. So these guys are having to fight their way forward. They want to try and get some points on the board, but stage points, especially in this longer race, were very, very important, Ewan. I think tonight, more importantly than ever, because there was 3 stages, taking stage points are important because you're getting an extra chunk of the prize pool on offer to you. You've got twice as many points on offer, for stage breaks tonight than any other race. They should have prioritized that because you can easily prioritize the stage points and race win by just strategizing around it. Just going for the race win's not worth it tonight. I think those stage points are much more worthy to your championship cause.
And by the way, as well, it's not just about making the top 10 for those playoffs at the end of the season, and it's not a win-you're-in situation. No. First place gets more bonus points added to their initial score when we begin the playoffs than 10th place. It's 10 down to 1. It's almost a bonus points situation there. So, contact! Oh! He's just driven straight into him there. Who was that?
That was
one
Ryan
of
Simmons.
Was that Mike Rinker? it looked like Mike Rinker, who's over 20 laps down. He's driven into Ryan Simmons, who is now at the back end of the lead lap, and there's a caution, of course. I'm afraid it looked to me like Mike Rinker just drove into somebody on the lead lap there, someone 20 laps ahead of him.
If that was Rinker, that there is absolutely deplorable stuff. You're 20 laps down and you've just driven into a car on the lead lap.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that there, I'm sorry, that is just disgusting behaviour. You're 20 laps down and you've just driven into a car who's battling in the lead lap for a top 10 spot. I mean, you know, I'm sure Mike didn't mean it. That it wasn't deliberate, of course, but sometimes you got to take a breath and just think, why have you done that? You know, why have you gone for such a move? We're about to see pit stop as well, gentlemen, as we come onto the back to live. Multiple cars in pit lane. Clark, Gill, Stevens, Anderson, Murgy, Trusty, Jones, all into pit road. They're risking that this is going to be caution filled because they know we're past lap 110, and with a couple of cautions, they can make 40 laps here. This caution's going to be 5 laps, and we're lap 116. They can easily get 34 with one caution. So they could be on here.
These guys who are in now are making it to the end, and if I'm honest, I would be in right now as well. Take 4 tyres maybe, but you know, track position from now is super important. Based on what we've seen at Daytona and Nashville from here to the end, we are not going to get much green flag running between now and the finish based on what we've seen. Again, as you said earlier, don't want to rely on cautions again, but you can rely on the fact that there is going to be some before the end in my mind. And so get your track position, make sure you can go to the end, and you've got to say Mr. Raw Dog Jack Anderson has done the best out of that so far. He's out first of those who's come in.
Yeah, he took 2 tyres, so he's taken his track position. He's still got a set available to him as well, I believe. So he should be, if we get a late caution, he won't need it, but if we get a late caution and after a long green period, he could definitely come in, take 4 tyres, and then push on to the very end of this race. So he's got tyres aplenty. The cars behind him have taken 4, but he doesn't need 4 right now, especially after a short period like that. I mean, he came in on, lap 89, I think it was. So, you know, he should be able to make it to the end of this race. He's in a solid position now. Those cars with all 4 sets, you know, that's worked out in their benefit, but this is a misplay from Bailey Brannan. He should have come in with them. He pitted on lap 90. He was in the same position. This is another Nicholas Meadows scenario now for Brannan. He has he's hurt himself a little bit. If we do get a long green period and he can make it to, well, he's only ever going to make it now to maybe lap 126, maybe 128. He's going to need to try and build some gap if he can. And he's going to have to hope that these guys have been buried a little bit further back are going to get caught up in some dramas.
Can you give any tactical justification for staying out with only a few laps of fuel left in your tank and then restarting on worse tyres than those behind you? Because I cannot think of anything that possessed Bailey Brannan to stay out here.
No, I can't. I think that's just that there is it's
Jim blames it on the fact he's from Florida State. I don't know if he's from there, but he's, you know, he seems related to it in some fashion. There you go.
Well, Purple has claimed he's going to put his money on the 6 car to win this thing, but I think now Bailey Brannan has probably cost himself the race win, arguably.
I saw when that message come in, and I sort of agreed with it at the time, but I would have been sobbing seeing that if I had put my money on him, because I just seen him make it. It's always the way, isn't it? As soon as you put some money there, it goes terribly wrong. That's exactly what would have happened there for the 6 car. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work out. But anyway, into the Chop House Restorations restart zone he goes again. He gets us back underway again, but this is a very short-lived run at the front now for Bailey Brannan, who I'm pretty confident now is not going to repeat his heroics from Nashville. Although, in fairness, there are only 17 on the lead lap here. It's still possible, very possible for him to get a good result out of this race.
Is indeed. So Mackie just trying to get back up the inside of him here. And we can see as well that Gill and Clark and Co are just getting eaten alive at the moment. Anderson got it loose though. Oh, real loose in the 34 car. He just saved it. Recall, he only took 2 tyres on that last stop. There's the caution. But that was from cars in behind, including Nick Meadows, who's been off the road, and the 98 car of Cody Pruitt. So Anderson getting real loose there on those 2 tyres that he took.
Everybody's loose.
Yeah.
Everybody's loose there. All of them having a separate incident there.
Yeah. That there was maybe cold tyres off a restart. It hasn't taken him out of it just yet. I mean, the caution came out. He's still on the back of Clark and Gill, who are effectively would be our race leaders. But definitely a wake-up call, as Brannon, Mackay and Harris have all come into pit road as well when we head back to live here. Smathers has stayed out. So that there is a massive gamble from the Vagisil car.
I'd love to see him do 51 laps, but he can't, can he?
No,
Just can't.
I don't think so. I don't think he can, if I'm honest with you. So what this is now going to do is, so our effective top 10, because Smathers will need a pit stop, our effective top 10 will still include Chris Mackey, because he should leave pit road in P11. And and also Paul Harris, actually, because both Smathers and Shane Johnson need to pit again to get home.
I think, this is a bit strange from number 1. The other thing is, by the way, this other thing's puzzling me. What has possessed those guys like Mackie and whatever? What has changed between now and 4 laps ago, which meant that a pit stop was possible now and not before?
Because they've gotten to the critical lap of 120, so they probably believe.
Lap, is it? 'Cause there's going to be caution, so it's
again.
not that.
Again, they're probably basing it on they're never guaranteed to get cautions, so they were playing it safe and making sure that if we do go green, that they could definitely make it home on that fuel. That's the only possible reason I could see as to why they waited until this point. They didn't want to roll the dice and gamble. Those who did roll the dice and gamble on 115, well, they've now had it pay off for them because they'd be able to save enough fuel now to get home. So they should be sitting pretty. The only question is...
Yeah. Hey, talking to everybody?
Yeah, you talking to everybody, Jim, or just us? Are you just trying to crack us up? Oh, well.
Oh, he's cracking the same joke.
No,
Again.
Jim, the better joke would be we've got Zach Smathers, aka Eric Cartman, driving the Vagisil car because that was the sponsor on the side of his car when he did a NASCAR episode in South Park. So that would be the better reference. So, yeah.
You've lost me there. Sorry. You've lost the culturally unknowledgeable one of the broadcast people.
Ewan, I look forward to you. I feel, Ewan, that you are the type of person you'd go on holiday halfway across the world, whether it's to the US or to Australia, and you're definitely taking photos with your iPad, and you're definitely going to all the very distinct tourism spots. You know, you're going to your Sydney Opera House, or you're going to Hollywood Boulevard in LA. I mean, you know.
Oh no, I'm definitely.
Yep, Times Square in New York. You know.
Oh no, this is a horrible holiday you're planning at the moment. Dear oh dear, I'm not. You're not my holiday planner, that's for sure. I won't be employing you anytime soon.
I mean, nothing beats a Jet2 holiday, Ewan, and you can save £50. That's £200 off for a family of 4. You know. So.
Yeah, as we all know, of course. Anyway, into the pit lane comes the pace car, and it's time to get serious again, if possible, as we get into the restart zone again. And with 29 to go, we're back underway. Completion of lap 121. Just how many of those laps are going to be run under green as well is the big thing here. Zach Smathers leads the field away, but for how long here? Gill on the outside in the 2 car, rocks off of turn 2 and into the lead here, surely, at the end of the first lap under green after this restart.
Yep, fresh tyres on that car, and it is looking like a rocket ship is the C4 energy machine, powered by creatine and powered by fresh rubber as well. Smathers, though, is getting eaten alive at this stage. Preston Clark's just come past as well. He'll look to be under the assault of the raw dogger himself, Jack Anderson. He'll hope he'll at least put some mustard and ketchup on it first, though, instead of just shoving it in. That's why he uses Vagisil, I think, Jim. You know, he wants to keep it fresh.
What's going on now? Anyway,
Robert Stevens, though, who's just in
I'm
behind him,
sorry,
he
folks.
does need
This
another...
broadcast has now been censored.
Steve Johnson, who's currently P6, so will need another stop in this race. So the battle in behind them with Quinton Morrow and Devon Trusty, that is for technically P5 because both Johnson and Smathers need a pit stop. But the battle at the front, though, is really heating up as Smathers is becoming under pressure here from the 34 car.
And they're letting Logan Gill get out even further out front now, but Smathers just getting a little bit in the way now of Clark and Anderson, as of course he's got a right to do. Here comes Robert Stevens Jr. now, qualified 28th, by the way, in the 69 car, but he's coming through pretty quick as well. Smathers, by the way, showing something that would have been interesting later on in the race, only it won't be a factor here necessarily. The tyres really not much of a difference, really. There is a 15-lap difference in tyres between these two cars at the moment, or all these cars and Smathers. I know that only about 10 or so of those, maybe at most, would have been under green flag racing. But even so, some circuits, even 10 laps will make a big difference. But Smathers is only just slower than the rest. Maybe he's hoping that after his pit stop, he will see the other side of this and he'll get a benefit by running on the new tyres. If he does, then it's a masterstroke. But at the moment, he can't see quite how it's going to happen because at the moment he's only losing places. And surely next up is going to be Robert Stevens Jr.
Yeah, and as we just saw then, I think Anderson just scraped the wall on the exit at 4 there, so he's just had to lift off a little bit, really recenter himself here. Johnson looks to come into pit road now as well, and I think... Oh no, it's a yellow flag scenario. Oh my god, and they've just made contact as the yellow flag is called as well. Trusty has just been knocked there by Steve Johnson. I wonder if we'll see Smathers come in, because...
Yeah,
I mean, he can't go 51. I mean, that would be ridiculous, even with an amount of cautions to do so. But this is now going to give Trey Graber the lucky dog, and he's about to get back onto the lead lap in P15.
Let's see how it was brought out.
I think it was Johnson. That's what it was there. Yeah, it was the 8 car. And then, if you look back at the 8 car off that incident, Jim, if we try and line it up properly, he actually then gets knocked by Steve Johnson as he comes through, and he ends up on the infield, but they kept rolling afterwards anyway. So, but we expect Smathers to come in. He is coming in, so Smathers into pit road. Meadows, Mackey, Martin, Harris, Johnson, they're all in. So Meadows, Mackey, and Martin, who did not need to stop, they're coming in for fresh tyres, I think. Yeah, he did.
I think you're right. Yeah. If you're far enough back, you might as well do it. But it was Mackey, actually, who might use his faster pair. So
it was actually Paul Harris who knocked the 24 car.
Yeah.
So there's on Paul Harris. Yeah. So
if there's any faster pairs down there for any of those guys, they'll come in and take them. If there's 4 tyres waiting down there and you're on the end of the lead lap at the moment, you come and take them as well. And that, as you say, is what a lot of these guys have done. Actually, only 6 guys stayed out there. But again, I really think the track position is going to be key here, and Logan Gill's got it at the moment.
Trey Graber gets his wave around as the lucky dog. I would say he's going to do a full lap, and then if he's going to come in for fresh rubber, he'll do it once he catches the train. There's no point coming in right now. You've just got your lap back, so he'll traverse around. He'll get to the back of, I think it would be the back of the lapped traffic possibly, and then you'd traverse around and you'd come in under the caution and take those fresh tyres if that was the plan, because at least he wouldn't go a lap down if he did so.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I don't think he is going to come in though, based on what he's doing at the moment. He's just waiting for all the others to come, because you'd carry on if in this situation. He's slowing down because he knows that he's got to let everybody through yet. So there goes a few more. There out the pit lane comes car 6, Bailey Brannan, who is on the lead lap here and still in with a chance. He's certainly with a chance of taking the points lead here, with Cody Pruitt still running 5 laps down, although that is the key thing. He is still running. So's Mike Rinker, by the way, 21 laps down and still going. Obviously, you question why getting involved in incidents at this stage in the race, and we certainly can still do that, but fair play for continuing on. And since he disconnected on lap 2, by the way, he's gained 10 places, so it's definitely been worth it.
It has indeed. A lot of cars as well. One thing we need to remember tonight is they only had 24 incident points to play with before they were disqualified. So I feel there's probably been a couple of drivers who have actually copped disqualifications this evening, Ewan, based on that limitation and how many incidents we've had. And there were definitely a couple of cars who were involved in quite a few of them. One of them, Logan Newcar, although he is still out on track in the 12 car. I think Lucas Domini, though, in the 21, definitely caught that 24 incident limit on lap 40 because he's been out ever since then and not back on track.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be 21 laps to go when we get back racing here, and just how many of those laps are going to be run under green flag racing, I wonder. Well, it's surely not going to be too many because of the kind of racing we've seen so far. It would be a surprise, but you never know. Logan Gill will be hoping that there's not more bad luck awaiting him round the corner. He's got close at Daytona and Nashville, and he does deserve to get a race win here. He's already got a stage win, and he was up the front again now with 21 to go. Into the Chop House Restorations restart zone we go at 2 car, in control of the field, ready to go racing, and we are racing again. 21 to go. Straight away, pulling in behind him, Preston Clark, then Jack Anderson. Of those front 6, of course, who all stayed out under that caution.
They did well just to keep their track position. We'll see how well that track position is going to be worth at the 9 and the 22 of Mackie and Meadows battling away. Yellow flag is thrown again here, and it's Steve Johnson this time who's had the incident, it seems. In that 24 car. Oh, Brannon! Oh, so he got loose. Oh, and then the 98 of Pruitt. Well, that there is probably night over for the 98 car, so that's unfortunate for him. But, you know, if we go caution after caution here, Ewan, this is only going to play into the hands now of Logan Gill.
Right, there it is again. I mean, again, I could repeat my point earlier about, have these cars really got looser since practice? Anyway, yes, this is what I sort of foresaw as well, based on what we saw at Daytona and Nashville. It's very hard to make up any track position, no matter how new your tyres are, when the caution's out. You know, it doesn't matter. You're going to be stuck there. So I think this could be a recurring theme now. At the very maximum, we could have 5, and then obviously unlimited on the way to overtime. But I guess 4, actually, literally, isn't it? 4 cautions before we get to the end of the race distance, and then overtime as well. But, you know, it's just not very possible to gain places when we're running around like this, and it doesn't matter who you are. So, yeah, this is going to be difficult now for those who are not Logan Gill, controlling the restarts as he will be every time.
It'll be interesting if we're going to go caution after caution here, Ewan. I mean, I have a wish that we at least go green maybe for 15 laps, and then we get a late break caution just to heat it up a little bit for us, just to let us roll on a nice little simmer for a couple laps here, and then we can get into a late caution, and then we can really heat things up. But if you're Gill, you're not complaining that the caution's getting thrown because no one can pass you if you're under caution, so it's playing into his hands at this stage of the race.
Have you not had enough of the cautions yet?
Me? No. No, I have. No. I love green flag running, of course, but if we're going to get one more caution, I want it right at the end, because that's really going to heat things up for us. It'll give an opportunity to another driver to get back on the lead lap. In this case, it would be Tyler Murgy. Oh, he just got it? Okay. Well, he still would get it again because he's not actually on the lead lap at this stage. He's still a lap down. So that would help him a little bit further. And again, it means that if it is another late break caution, who's going to come in and who's going to risk taking tyres? You know, who's going to risk, taking a set of tyres? He's not on the lead lap, Jim. Is Tyler Murgy. He's on lap 131. These cars are just coming to start lap 132. About to be lap 133. So he needs one more to get... Actually, no, he needs 2 more because he's a minute and 45 seconds back. So he needs 2 more cautions to get back onto the lead lap at this stage. But, yeah, I mean, I don't like it for the spectacle of racing, Ewan, to get caution after caution, obviously. But if you're Gill and you're in the position of Gill, or even Clark or Anderson or Wing, you're loving the fact that we're getting cautions because you're not losing position.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not going to be... of concern to them at all. They are going well as it stands. These guys at the front, Gill and Clark, will be the ones to start us off on the front, of course. But There are some guys further down who have got those newer tyres on, and they are going to look to use them here in this restart, if indeed they've got the laps to do it here. 17 laps to go at the conclusion of this caution. As I mentioned, well, maybe only time for 3 more cautions, to be honest, before we start getting into overtime territory. But I personally want to see it. I've got to say, I don't particularly like the very short runs to the end. I quite like a little developing race towards the end, 17 laps, but the realism of that is maybe diminished based on what we've seen so far tonight in the Skylark 225. But anyway, let's see what happens as we get into the Chop House Restorations restart zone again. Logan Gill on the front into that restart zone, and will nail the restart like he did last time. Clark trying to anticipate the launch alongside, but straight away single file for the front 4, and maybe that's a blessing for those on the newer tyres behind to get the media to pick off one by one.
What though, Anderson picked that restart well, actually. Just got ahead of Wing off that restart zone as well, so the cat entry of Daniel Wing he's sitting pretty at the moment. He is under pressure though from Morrow, but the more these guys battle, the better it's now going to suit the top 3, who can just kind of sit a line astern and try and pull away from them. If you're in the top 3, you're wanting a long green period right now, and you're hoping that the cars behind you begin to battle, because then you can just try and gain some track position if you possibly could. Scrambling though are those cars behind them. I mean, Meadows is now back into it. We thought that his race could be over, but these cautions probably saved him as Clark just taps the wall in the exit of 2. But yeah, Meadows is back into this. Mack is into it, so is Harris, but they need to try and find some pace if they want to catch the front runners, as Anderson looks to take advantage of that wall tap there by the 14.
And this is how much they're pushing now. Clark was super close to, well, yeah, as you say, just tapped it as well off of turn 2. Jack Anderson, though, super close, just entered a little bit lower into turns 1 and 2, really on that white line there, running the low line, trying to get past Clark, and it's Wing actually. You wonder why he's not taking the full scope of the corner. It's Wing on the outside line who gets through, pitted at the 1 caution after these guys, and he's flying through right now. Not sure it's particularly down to his later pit stop, to be honest, or whether...
Oh, contact!
Jack Anderson in the fence! Someone was on his outside there, and it was Nicholas Meadows, I think, who made contact with him.
It might have been Rob Stevens, possibly. No, it was Quinton Morrow. Oh, my God.
Wow. I mean, he was there, to be fair.
Yeah, but the 17 already tapped the wall anyway as well, but contact was always going to be made.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that was going to be Anderson was going to end up in the wall no matter what there. Because, just running up to... I don't really understand that. It wasn't like he was only just alongside. That's a proper overlap there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I wonder, though, actually, because if we look back, so the 17 taps the wall, that then almost taps into the right-hand side of the 34 as well. So, he did come off the wall. You can see the smoke come off the car on the wall off that incident, so he does. But I do agree, though. I think they were always going to make contact, but I don't know if Anderson only tapped him, if it was going to be that bad. So if we watch it here, watch the 17. So he'll run high alongside the 34, and then watch for the little puff of smoke on the 17 car. So he touches the wall and then makes contact with the 34, and into the wall goes the 34 car. So they were always running high together, but the 34 never actually pushed the 17 into the wall. The 17 ran high and ended up in the wall and then made some contact as well. So I think between them both, they were always going to make contact. But I think the fact that the 17 tapped the wall first, which then ricocheted him into the side of the 34, that made the incident a lot worse than what it was actually going to be. The lucky thing for Anderson is he did have his fast repair. He is in P11 and he is still on the lead lap. Now, he has taken tyres. Yeah, I can do that. There we go. So he came into pit road. I've just got it up now. He did take some tyres on this stop. So we'll just watch it back here. We'll go full speed. So he comes in the box. He gets his fast repair. He takes right sides. So he's got fresh right side tyres. and then he pulls out. So he's got fresh tyres, he got his fast repair, and he's still on the lead lap. So he will have some tyre advantage now, Ewan, compared to the rest of the field. But, I mean, we'll just see. He's had some solid... I mean, the incident wasn't worth it, no. But I think it was a case of they were both, they both had some form of blame, I do think.
Yeah,
but
well,
luckily, they're both together on track. So they haven't lost out on being on the lead lap, and they've both got an opportunity to still finish inside the top 10.
Or crash into each other again in anger.
Well,
But,
this is true. This is true. That could also happen again. But yeah, I think they both had a part to play. I don't think either one of them could necessarily be blamed. I think contact was always going to happen between them, though.
Yeah, I still feel like Morrow could have done that corner inch perfect, and there still would have been a crash. But it doesn't particularly matter. They're both down the back now. And again, it's about track position later on in these races. Just 11 to go, and it's the same names. As long as they don't get it caught up in incidents, it's the same names who end up at the front. And it was true in the early part of the final phase of the race at Nashville for Logan Gill. He stayed up towards the front throughout cautions, through track position, until he got involved in one of his own, and that became the real problem for him. So let's hope that doesn't happen again here, because he's driven a very, very good race indeed. But he's got some more restarts to negotiate. 11 to go this time round, as Gill now pulls into the restart zone, and will get us back underway now here at Charlotte. Here we go, 11 to go, and it's Gill underway again. Clark with a better restart though this time. He's a lot closer.
He is. He's gone right with him off the restart. Let's see how much pressure is going to be applied. I mean, we've only got so many laps to go in this race, and track position is as key as ever between these drivers. And as Gill and Clark go side by side through turn 3 and then out through turn 4, which one of them has the benefits? Oh, as Wing just claps the wall into the quad oval. So we're looking off the back there of Clark's car, but you almost feel that they are feeling the pressure right now. And if you're in Wing's position where you're on slightly older tyres, they're going to start to burn away. How much more can you get out of this race?
It's not much either. It's not much of an advantage. The real advantages start to come there, starting with Nicholas Meadows here, and they're all in the fence. Goodness me! Gill there, and Clark and Wing all find themselves very close to the wall here. They're all under pressure, and there's nearly contact towards turn 1. Gill has to go to the high side as Clark goes through on the inside line at turn 1 and 2. It's going to be Gill though on the exit. There's contact. Oh, Logan Gill again! God. It's happened again to the 2 car. Logan Gill's out of the running for this race. Surely now here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's going to be Preston Clark who leads, and the atrocious look for Logan Gill continues.
Blaming you for that one there, Ewan. You bewitched him earlier on. That is your fault. But you see there, it's the smallest of taps that then caused that. And unfortunately for Daniel Wing, he made the contact and then he just disappeared into the shadow realm. So that's taken him out as well. I mean, he was just in the middle of the road. And then I think it was. Yeah, he was DQ'd. That's the only reasoning as to why he would have disappeared from that point. He was because he disappeared in the middle of the track. The only way you can disappear off the road without finding the door to the shadow realm is you get disqualified. So he's been disqualified for incident points. So that puts some, that's really cost him. And he was.
Well, what's crazy is he got DQ'd, and it wasn't even his. Wasn't even his incident.
No, and that's.
Who's talking to?
Yeah, no. But I mean, that's the biggest issue, isn't it, Ewan? That's one of my issues with the iRacing incident points system. Is an incident cannot be your fault, but you still get incident points, and then that can cost you a race. And that's the disappointing part there for Daniel.
Well, sorry. You say that. That one wasn't his fault, but how did he get that close? Would be my question to that.
And that's the other argument is it's not about the last incident point; it's about the 23 prior that you got. How did you get those? So it's a tough world sometimes, and it's a tough racing environment. But that's racing. But those guys got close, and it can happen to any of the others at the front of the field now as well. It can happen to Preston Clark, it can happen to Nick Meadows or Paul Harris or Bailey Brannan. Harris would be, I think, would be getting close as well to the incident limit too, so he also needs to be cautious. Brannan may need to be cautious as well, and Chris Mackey. So those guys could be close to a disqualification if they're not careful. A poor incident from them could easily find them on the wrong side of the shadow realm. But with only so many laps to go, it's anyone's game still on the lead lap, and the top 12 cars are currently left on that lead lap, with Logan Gill now back in P12.
Oh, what a shame for him. It's happened again, and it's unbelievable, isn't it, really? That, I mean, he's still 8th place in points coming in here today. He's probably going to gain positions as well, based on what we've had so far. Logan Nuka and Chris Hone certainly are much further down the field. For him to get past here, so yeah, he's going to gain places today and knock on the door of that top 5 again. Needs to be in the top 10 in time for the playoffs, and that will get him in good stead for the end of the season. But yeah, such a shame that he's not been able to take home that race win that he does deserve. Now he's the last driver on the lead lap. Front 6 rows taken up with drivers all on the lead lap. How are they going to race each other for the win here with 5 to go when we get to the green flag?
Well, Brannan has this has worked out well for him, Ewan. He's back up to P4. He's in the better position comparatively to Trey Jones, who started pole position in this race. He's laps down and in P17. Brannan could easily lead. Oh man, probably will leave this race as the championship leader at this stage, barring him getting disqualified. It's 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 to go when we go green. One more caution will make us go green, white, checkered, I would say, Ewan, in this scenario. Let's see, though, who gets the benefits of this race and who can keep it clean.
And will it go all the way to the end here in this run, or are we going to see another caution before the checker flag here as they now bring themselves towards the House Restorations restart zone again? Totally lost count of the amount of cautions now, by the way, but anyway, that doesn't matter. Preston Clark is going to get us back underway here for what hopefully is the final time. A 5-lap run to the finish, and what a launch that is. On the older tyres, yes, but a good launch there. He's surrounded by drivers on newer tyres at the moment. Nicholas Meadows is leading the line of those who came in only 23 laps from the scheduled conclusion of this race. Clark has got to hold them off in these final laps of the race, and that's a good start.
Yeah, it's a ripper start from him. And with these guys battling in behind him, it's only going to make his job even easier. The last 2 rounds, we've seen late cautions, and often it is the race leader at those cautions who ends up going on to win the race. We don't see late mistakes from the race leader. So Preston Clark could easily be the race winner here tonight, but the 5 cars in behind him, well, they are battling as hard as ever. You'd think they'd be battling for the race win at this stage, Ewan, as they look to go in 2 lines astern. Make it 3 wide on the exit, why don't you, Mr. Paul Harris and Mr. Chris Mackey, as Nick Meadows just drops positions, but Zach Smathers is right up there now as well. And here comes Gill, and there goes the contact. It'll be green-white checkered to the end of this race. Last caution there has now occurred. Yeah. And Logan Gill, look at that. Recovery time as ever here, Ewan. P4 off that restart. What an effort from him.
Well, yeah, well, it is for now anyway. Let's see how it happened. Oh dear.
It's Paul Harris again.
Yeah, it is Paul Harris who eventually delivers the final blow there to Chris Mackey and Zach Smathers, who find themselves in the wall pretty hard. Nicholas Meadows, by the way, had pretty heavy damage actually from that previous caution, the one before this one. And so I think that's why he was slow. That's all speculation, by the way. I don't know that, but I think that's why he was slow. But he's definitely got more damage now. He's actually blown his engine now after getting involved in this. 4 cars involved this time round. So we're not going to be left with very many on the lead lap. Jesse James is going to get back on, though.
He will. Jesse James will get back onto the lead lap off of this incident. And the Road Dog is ready to run further forward once again.
Well, who is going to win this race then in that case? Preston Clark ahead of Bailey Brannan, who's going for back-to-back, Paul Harris, and then Logan Gill, who's back in the game all of a sudden after using his fast pair, and he's on the newest tyres of everybody.
Yep, he is And if you're any of those drivers right now, after seeing what just happened with Paul Harris, you're biting your fingernails right down to the nubs, Ewan, in hope that Harris doesn't cause an incident like that with you after that moment there. So we'll see, though, how this all plays out. I think for us, to be fair, he was supposed to make a special livery for us. I don't think he's allowed to win this race now because he failed to do so.
I didn't know this, to be fair, so he could have slipped me by, but but there you go. It will be on the inside, by the way, just to carry on with your point there. It'll be on the inside, and so yeah, if it'd be Clark who'd be worried. But the problem is, and I don't know what it is about the outside and the guys around the leader, but the leaders have been able to get a really big jump on the rest of the field every single restart. They're just not really reacting to it very well.
No, they're not. I mean, he's just able to get the power down so well. And, you know, in a green-white checkered scenario, how much pressure is going to be on these cars? How much are they going to be willing to push? We're going to see how it all plays out, though. I mean, this has been it's obviously been a long race. We've gone over 2 hours in this race, but it's been quite spectacular, I must say. Even with all the cautions we've had, it's been actually a really good race thus far. I've been really enjoying it. And this is honestly, like, I think at the moment it's Logan Gill as a possible race winner. But I think Preston Clark's going to be hard to beat. Yeah, for predictions.
I agree. I think Logan Gill.
Yeah, he's on those fresh tyres. I think, and unless Preston can rocket away really early, which I think Brandon will actually be able to go with him, Gill's going to be the one to beat at this stage with those fresh tyres. But Clark's got the track advantage. We'll see how much that's worth off this restart here, Ewan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going for track position, the boring choice. But you know, it might be boring, but I think it'd be right at the end of the day. Yeah, track position has proved to be pretty important. But you know, we never know what's going to happen here because we've seen a lot already in the 150 laps. We're actually about to complete the scheduled distance now, but of course we've got overtime still to come here. Yeah, it would be a brilliant comeback victory if Logan Gill's able to do that. Takes us faster pair, of course, but nevertheless, it would be a spectacular comeback. 10 drivers on the lead lap, effectively in contention for this one, including Jesse James, we talked about, who got that lucky dog on that restart there. But look at the noticeably smaller field making its way to the Chop House Restorations restart zone, ready for overtime here from Charlotte. It is time to get back underway. Preston Clark will receive 2 laps to go and again jumps the field. And look at Gill already, looking on the outside, 3 wide per second already here.
Gill is hungry to get this first race win of the season, and it was heartbreak for him only 10 laps ago, Ewan. And now he's back in contention for a race win. It'll be white flag the next time by. But he's got to try and get up onto the back of Preston Clark if he wants to reap the benefits of those fresh tyres. But the track position is so strong off the restart, although he is chasing him down right to the start. Wow. Look at how much pace that 2 car has got in behind Preston Clark. White flag lap, 1 to go, and it could be any of them.
1 lap to go, sponsored by Blue Light Technologies, and it's Gill going for the lead. Here he comes on Clark, and so as well, 3 wide. Bailey Brannan going for back-to-back. He's just about got an overlap here. Gill's now going to get to the inside, coming into 3 and 4. He's on those new tyres. He crashed out 10 laps ago. He slides in front of Clark. He does the slide jump. He's in the fence. Oh, he's in the wall. Is he going to hold on here? No, he's not. They all crashed into the fence. He crashed it across the line. Oh, it's a massive crash. An absolutely humongous crash to end this race. Oh, but Logan Gill's going to win it here. If he can even survive the crash, that is. Oh, my word. He's taken the win by half a second. He and Clark and Brandon all crash over the line. Talon Murgy's finished 3rd. We haven't even spoken about him today. He's finished 3rd. And in the end, Bailey Brannan dropped to 4th. What a mess that was to finish this race.
I mean, we probably couldn't have ended the race in a more apropos fashion for how this one went. So he goes for the inside at the final corner, He then runs it slightly wide, trying to keep the pace in it. Taps the wall, makes contact slightly, then comes back across after the contact with Bailey Brannon and backs it over the line. And Murgy just collects Preston Clark in a massive form. We waited for the big one all night, and it came after the checkered flag was flown. I mean, what a way to get the frustrations out.
I mean, just think, if one of those three had a cool head, they would have won.
Oh, I know. I mean, that there is spectacular.
That was just the biggest I'm going to win.
Can we ride on board with Murgy here, Jim, just so we can see his perspective as he came across the line, even on the roll bar?
Horrific accident, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it was. Okay, so...
The white flag, here you go.
Okay, here we go. So we'll watch this final lap of Tyler Murgy's whilst the podium finishers get into the broadcast waiting room. I mean, all you can do is laugh. I mean, that there is a spectacular finish. It's one for the highlight reels for sure. So as he comes up to the line, they all just crash and lose out, and he's like, "Oh, we can get it here." And then bang, straight through Preston Clark. Wow, what a finish to that race. And Logan Gill's still parked up alongside them. We can't believe it. He cannot believe it that he took that race win. Wow, that was phenomenal.
That was indeed. We'll have a look at the race results. We'll pull them up in a moment. But yeah, we'll have a look at the race results when they're available, and getting some interviews as well here. But there they come. Logan Gill has taken the race victory by half a second. It will be at the end. Clark and Murgy finish barely apart there in the race for a second as Bailey Brannon drops to fourth. He'll be points leader though after tonight. Paul Harris rounds out the top five with Quentin Morrow in sixth place. Trey Martin had a Trey Graber in the end, ahead of Jesse James and Jack Anderson to round out the top 10. 4 laps down for Nicholas Meadows alongside Logan Oerker. Then Zach Smathers and Chris Mackey after their crash. 5 down. 11 down for Daniel Wing and Trey Jones. 16 down for Robert Stevens Jr. with Mike Rinker finishing trade 2 laps down as he ran for most of the race, but he did gain over 10 places since his issue off the start. St. Johnson and Devon Trusty round out the top 20. Cody Pruitt, I'll keep reading while you can't see them. 21st for Cody Pruitt. He loses his points lead here with Ryan Simmons at 22nd. Chris Owen, Charles Rinker and Jamie Violette round out top 25. And Cody Nelson, William Hawker, Caleb Ross, Taylor Strong, B Strong rounding up top 30. Lucas Domini over 100 laps down as well with Bill Dickey the second, Joe Dyson and John Roberts, who rounds out the 32 drivers. Let's have a chat to Logan Gill, shall we? The race winner here tonight from Charlotte. Congratulations, Logan, on the race win. That must have been a huge roller coaster of emotions there in the last 10 laps. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man, I thought I was done on that wreck, man. I really did. And we came out, got through that last wreck, which is just amazing. And then we somehow got it done. I don't have any hard feelings. 14, he got in me earlier. That's my buddy. But I feel like I had to dive it in there a little bit. Get that win.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the only way that was going to happen. But I mean, it took us through what you were thinking going on to that overtime period there, because you were fourth, and I'll be honest, I thought the track position would be too much for even you to overcome, even on the new tyres, actually. So what was your plan, if you can even have one, going into a final couple of laps like that?
Well, after that caution, I got involved. I didn't know where I was going to be at. Then I got through the wreck, and then on that last restart, man, I haven't seen anybody really running the high line like me all night. And I know I was on fresher tires than everybody. And that high line is just crazy. Coming off the backstretch, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was being really aggressive. We all were, last lap. But shout out to Bailey and Preston, man. Those are just great last 2 laps. It sucks we had to wreck coming to the line, but that was great, honestly.
Absolutely, it was great fun to watch as well, as I'm sure it was to be a part of as well. But thanks for coming to chat to us after the race tonight, Logan, and congratulations again on the race win. Do you want to shout anybody out if you want?
Shout out you guys for broadcasting this. Shout out for you guys also for putting me on the screen time. I heard you guys talking about me earlier. Shout out Skylark. I think it was you, Jim. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks very much. We'll hopefully see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Logan Gills. First place here tonight from Charlotte. Can't see Preston Clark in there for the moment, so we'll chat to Tyler Murgy in the meantime. Tyler, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Third place in the end. I've got to admit, we didn't see you very much throughout that race. Obviously, your livery, your car could be spotted from anywhere, but in terms of actual battles or whatever, we didn't watch you for any extended period of time, but ended up somehow in third place. Tell us how you managed to stealth your way up to the top three tonight.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I really am kind of shocked that I ended up here. I felt like I pitted at just the right time and got to the butter zone of the tires, and they just felt right. I came out on after I think I was on my second to last set of tires, and they were too cold, and I got a little sideways, and but put me in the pits just at the right time. So I think it worked out really well.
Absolutely, and what does this mean for the rest of the season now for you? It's a great result now, 23rd in points coming into today, so it must be a big sort of boost for you, boost up the standings as we target later on in the season. Just how do you see that going for you? With still plenty of time, of course, to get there until the playoffs.
Yeah, my goal for the whole season is just kind of top 10. I'm not out here to try to win. I don't get much time during the week to practice or anything like that, so it's kind of exciting to kind of get this bump and hopefully put me in a good place to finish top 10 for the season.
Well, that will certainly have taken a big boost tonight, that's for sure. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yes, Skylark AV, the series sponsor here. I'm a director of design and engineering there, so it's just really exciting to be on the podium at the Charlotte, or the Skylark 225 at Charlotte. So that's exciting.
Absolutely, a great way to get through the race. Tyler, congratulations on that top three tonight, and thanks for chatting to us again.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks very much. That's Tyler Murgy there in the third place here tonight in the Skylark 225, as he mentions there. I don't know if Preston Clark's going to be joining us, to be honest, for a chat. I can't see him. So that looks like it might just about be it here tonight. But go on, we'll bring Trey in as well if he wants to have a chat as well. Trey, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Top 10 for you tonight, an 8th place finish. Again, another one of the drivers we didn't actually see very much of. We saw you running. You got briefly up there, staying out under a caution at one stage, but other than that, didn't see too much of you. How was your race tonight?
It was pretty good. I got kind of trapped a lap down there on some pit stops, about 20 to go, and I was going to get my lucky dog, and then I think I hit the one car right there at the end of that caution, and it gave the lucky dog to somebody who was 3 laps down, which that's the rules, right? If you're in the wreck, you don't get the lucky dog. So I was like, dang it, am I ever going to get another chance? So I was down here with JJ, and I was like, man, I really want to throw that caution, but I'm like, I'm an admin. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let iRacing do it. Thankfully, we had plenty of wrecks that got me on the lead lap and get some tires, and it's just, we talked about it all week. It's an attrition race. It's 150 laps. You gotta make it to the end to have a chance. And we had a lot of guys who put in the time at practice, made it to the end of the race. So definitely want to give those guys a shout out who took the time this week to hop in and run some practice laps and some practice races. So we got a great group of guys, and we're just ready to hit Kansas next week. It's gonna be exciting.
Hey Trey, this is Kermit the Frog here. I did give a shout out to your car and talked about cancer awareness. If you'd like to say anything about that while we have you in here.
Yeah. So right before I got married, I lost my father-in-law to stage 4 colon cancer. And it was military kind of said, you have X amount of time to get married, get down here, all that stuff, right? And I looked at my fiance and I'm like, what are we going to do? And she's like, well, I promised my daddy that if he was not here, we weren't going to have a big wedding. So we got married and moved to South Carolina. And then about 2018, my dad calls me and says, hey, your mom's got breast cancer. And I remember going home from college that day, and I walked in the house and I told my wife, I'm like, I'm glad you went through with your dad what you did. And she goes, why would you ever say that to me? and I broke down like I am right now. I said, because my mom's got breast cancer, and my best friend lost her best friend, her daddy, to cancer, right? And now I get to have my best friend going through that, and it was tough seeing my mom go through it, but my mom was always a fighter. She always believed in me and encouraged me to live my dreams, which I'm doing right now in a way. So when this race came up and everybody's like, "Hey, are we doing Memorial Day schemes?" I'm like, "Nope." But thank you, that gave me a good idea. So I sent it to my dad. I sent the car to my dad, and he goes, "I'm crying right now." He goes, "That's pretty awesome." And I sent it to my wife's family, and they all signed off on it. And I said, "Well, hopefully we can get this car to the finish line, right? Because last thing I want to do is have a memorial car that doesn't finish." So we accomplished that. I'm proud of everybody in this league that helps me put this thing together. I'm proud of the ability to do this stuff and have guys that's like, "Hey, like, we're feeling for you. If you need anything, let us know." So we want to give a big shout out to my family for always sticking through with me in my tough times and going through with my mom what we went through, and just really, really proud of the community, right? That understands that and knows what we're going through and has been there and can empathize. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible disease, but at the end of the day, my mom told me, she goes, "I know where I'm going. Go live your life so you can meet me again one day." And that's what I've been doing this whole time, is just trying to live off of her encouragement and ability to fight through no matter what it is. And still at the end of the day, put on a happy face, wipe the tears, and go out and do the best that I can do. So appreciate you guys doing that for me tonight.
Absolutely, and a great run as well to get you into the top 10 tonight as well from Charlotte. So congratulations on that, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the day. Is there anything else you'd like to shout out, or anything else you want to say?
Just shout out to Logan. We've been working with him a lot and trying to get him some patience. And I mean, I don't know how many times he asked for an ELL penalty to go to the end of the line, and he knew everybody was going to crash out at the end. So congrats to him for winning this. Congrats to Tyler. I think it's pretty cool that the Skylark AV225 had the guy who works for Skylark and got us that sponsorship, the third place finish. So proud of them. Thank you to Skylark for coming on board and sponsoring this race. I want to thank Hawkers Automotive out of Colorado. They're fantastic. Their dad stays up every night late and watches this race. So props to him and all of our sponsors. Chop House Restorations for sponsoring the Restart Zone. Blue Line Technologies out of Charlotte. Actually, we were hoping they would get a good finish tonight. They're based in Charlotte, North Carolina. So thank you for Blue Line coming on board and doing that one lap to go. And thank you mainly to you guys. I can't thank the three of you enough for jumping on board and helping us get to where we are today. And yeah, shout out for my wife for letting me stay up way past my bedtime, but I love her. I love everything she's been through with me. So definitely shout out to her. So thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, Trey, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Kansas.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
Thanks very much. That's Trey Graver there, 8th place tonight, in the Skylark 225 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's just about it, Hamish, for our longest night, and it certainly was a long one here tonight, that's for sure. Over 2 hours of racing here, over 150 laps. Another overtime finish as well, but I think another popular winner as well in Logan Gill, the roller coaster of those final 10 minutes or so, eventually getting him the race win. That crash almost a blessing in disguise, almost. I'm not sure, he might have won anyway without the crash, but either way, he went through a lot throughout that race and he got the win that he has deserved for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think, long time coming for him. And I think this is an important one, obviously, winning tonight's race. Now, he didn't get stage points necessarily, but he did get the race win. So that's solid points on the board. I think those guys who got stage points across all 3 stages, they're the big benefactors of tonight's race. But this now could really shift the momentum in Logan's favor. He's got that, camel off his back of he's finally got that race win. Even though he got taken out late in the race, he still got the win. And next week at Kansas, it'll be an interesting one for sure. And we'll see if he can back it up with another podium or even another win.
Absolutely. We'll see how he backs it up next week at Kansas. We'll be live same time, same place on August 2nd with that next round of the championship. That's in a week's time as we get now 5 rounds away from the playoffs. Actually, after next week, we'll be halfway there. So we'll really start to look into it a little bit more after next week's race. But that's just about it from us here tonight from Charlotte. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside Hamish Monroe in the commentary box. Jim Cunningham behind the buttons here this afternoon for this broadcast. We'll see you next week, of course, the next round of the I2I Motorsports Xfinity Championship from Kansas. But from all of us here from Charlotte, it's goodbye for now.